Yo,
What's going on?
how do you name this room or whatever?
Um, I do it before I start it.
Well, there goes that.
Oh Lord.
Dude, at what point do we start looking at like other platforms and Instagram if they can't handle this show?
Instagram can't handle all this heat on a Friday night.
I guess not. Their servers are overloaded.
We would probably get few hundred more. Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, your internet just went out.
Man, we'd probably get like a few hundred more if we were on YouTube, but it's just not the same on YouTube, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I'm worried about your internet right now.
How is it? It glitched once already?
Yeah, a couple times. It's kind of like being wonky. You
That's,
had the guys out to freaking upgrade. We've been doing this show for a year and a half. We've never had problems like this.
yeah, I know. Yeah, we did upgrade it though, from 100 Mbps to a gig.
Yeah, that's about as good as it gets.
That's
Are
annoying.
you on the Wi-Fi?
Yeah, I'm on the Wi-Fi. I double checked after I ended my stream and then started up this one.
All right, well, it's fine. It's just like every once in a while it cuts out. We're ready to get started.
Oh yeah, we're ready. It's just gonna be a little bit annoying, but this is why it's good that you're hosting too. So like, if it goes to shit, then I'll leave and come back, and the live will be saved. So we'll be all right. All right. Well, I don't know. You're on top. Why don't you welcome everybody to the crossover?
Okay. Welcome everyone to Crossover. Today is Friday, January 7th. We are back. Last week we weren't able to save it, but hopefully everything goes smoothly this week. And we should be able to recap last week, but we got a ton of topics to get through, so I don't know if where this is going to go. So we'll see. Let's start with some mail days. What do you got?
Yeah, I got a few actually. All right, let's go here. Let me flip my camera. Okay, so first up, a Christian McCaffrey 101.
Where the fuck do you even find this stuff?
I just wait. They don't show up as much on eBay as they used to. By the way, I'm taking notes, you guys, on the faulty router thing. I'm noting that. I'm going to look into that tomorrow. Okay, 2019 Panini Chronicles Vertex McCaffrey. Then, this is anticipation of a question somebody asked later on. They said, do people still collect sets anymore in the modern era? And, well, I didn't buy a Marvin Bagley card because I'm a PC collector of his. So Christina and I are working on putting together the Luck of the Lottery Prism Gold set. So we are, in fact, Lamine James, if you know that person, you need to turn them in. They're causing a lot of problems in the hobby. And then finally, Jokic 2017 Prism Gold. So now 2 Prism Golds deep on the Jokic chase. So 3 mail days for me.
I figured out why you can't find McCaffrey 101s on eBay anymore.
Because I bought them all.
There's like 4 left that exist that you don't own, and you're not putting them on eBay. So, all right, I have short. Mine will be quick here. Oh, I gotta click the screen. Fucking Instagram. All right. First is a cross from BGS 9 to PSA 8, but I've had this card for about a year and a half. Looks much better now, in my opinion. 10 auto is not a given on these. The autos get kind of streaky on these stickers. Obviously, I'm not a big sticker auto fan, but this is Fitzgerald's, premier rookie card. There's only 50 of these, and kind of take what you can get. And then new Charizard this week, PSA 10. This one's cool because I don't know if you can tell, but there's like some texturing on it. And it's different from the traditional like yellow border. It's actually got like a gold textured border, and there's like a little bit of a pattern situation going on. This one's like one of the lower pop ones that exist of Charizard. I think it's like pop 75. Most of them are, quite a bit higher than that one. That's all I got.
Nice, man. What do you think about Fitzgerald coming out of retirement to join the Bucks?
Wait, is that real?
I don't know how real that is. I have heard it floated a few times.
No, I don't think he will, and I don't want him to. I'm at this point, like, he's committed so much to what he's done, like the purest of him, and the way he's taken his career and retired and been with one team. I think he should just stick with it. It's kind of like a Dirk Nowitzki thing without the ring. You might as well just, no point in trying to chase something at the end.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right.
He wouldn't get any credit for it anyways, right? If the Bucks win, he's not going to get any sort of extra points for that.
Probably not, although Antonio Brown apparently made a comment today that said Tom Brady's mythologized as a hero, but really it's guys like Antonio Brown, basically, who play a key role in winning championships. And he said the only reason he's Tom Brady's friend is because he's a good wide receiver in the NFL. So
that's coming from a guy who left in the middle of the game and took his clothes off. So, like, you might want to take that maybe with a tiny grain of salt.
Yeah. But, you know, Antonio Brown only did what many people wish to do at one point in their lives, which is take their clothes off, quit their job in the middle of the day, and tell their boss to screw off.
That's actually a funny take on that, because, you know, everyone is like, oh, you know what, he quit on his team, blah, blah. But, I mean, I think you got a good point, too. Like, man, he's living out a lot of Americans' dreams.
Yeah, man. He didn't get enough credit for the balls that takes.
And then he's like, I loved it, man. That's like classic Antonio Brown. I mean, it's entertainment, man. Like, these games are entertainment. If that doesn't entertain you, then
Yeah. Well, definitely had Scott Hansen perplexed for a good 30 minutes, recapping it over and over on Red Zone.
Scott Hansen is just like Captain America. Like, of course that's going to bother him.
That's right. Scott Hansen doesn't even take a bathroom break during his job, let alone take off his clothes and leave.
Those gloves are with Leland's, the gloves that he chucked into the stands. Or one of the gloves.
Sorry, glitched for a second. One more time.
One of those gloves that he chucked into the stands is with Leland Auctions.
Oh, nice. You know, since you mentioned that, Jordan Gilroy 11 sent in a comment, just the Mint 25 auction. So I'll just briefly use this as a segue to talk about that. The Mint 25 auction started January 2nd. It ends January 29th. And even though the Mint Collective has been postponed until March, this auction's still going on. So Leland's currently has an auction, some very cool items on there. 2000 Playoff Contenders Championship ticket, Tom Brady, number 99 of 100 is on there. A photo-matched autographed Tom Brady jersey to an October 17th, 2010 game is on there. A 51 Bowman Mantle PSA 8 is on there. Lots of cool stuff is on there. So just wanted to mention that briefly. Shout out to Jordan Gilroy. Okay. Oh,
I got features.
Yeah, can we talk about and also is Josh ready's the features? I'll say the one other announcement that we have, which is just that we have a new Sports Cards Culture episode on YouTube. And the theme of that episode is, can money buy you respect in the hobby? So check out that episode on YouTube. By the way, the chat is frozen for me. Hopefully it unfreezes at some point. I'm not ignoring anybody in the chat. Okay, go ahead, Josh.
I'm on top of it. All right, we got a bunch of new stuff this week, but I kind of want to go fast because we got a lot to cover today, so I'm going to try. This was probably one of our most requested features, and it all came this week. I've never heard of this before. No one's ever asked for this, but all of a sudden this week, we got a ton of requests for this. Shout out Iconic Card Collector for being specific with me and helping me like work through what exactly he wanted. And after I implemented it, I get it. I know why you guys like it. So on sales history, if you click on a sale, I picked this super rare LeBron Gold Prism PSA 10 from Golden. And then now we added this little button right here. There's a plus. You click the plus. This actually is going to take a second, so bear with me. Because it's actually like processing the image and like doing a bunch of stuff behind the scenes to get it to where you can add to your collection without having to punch in anything yourself. A lot of these are faster, but like the golden images are really big, so it takes a second. All right, so you see it pulled the image in, it pulled the price. So it's assuming that listing is your card that you bought. So it's going to put in that's for your price. There's your estimated value, purchase date. It also pre-fills in a bunch of the details about the card. You just have to select category, then you hit save. So the cool thing about this is not only is it fast tracking, adding all the details of the card for you, but it's also like setting up the player index for you and predicted pricing going forward. So it's actually going to like set up the LeBron James index. It's going to give you the estimated value. You're going to get email updates about this card every day, way faster. So I get the value, and this is coming to mobile soon. Did I miss anything?
No, but what a really cool feature, straight from the mouths of our users to Josh's ears to now being a feature in Card Ladder. Bravo to the community and Card Ladder team.
Next is, let's do Jordan. I was doing some stuff. All right, so now when you search in the global search, we've now got these 3 little tabs where you can now search.
I love
it. A lot of people have been asking me for this one too, because they want to like search shop and sales history quickly without having to go to the shop page or the sales history page. So in the global search up top, it's actually going to start searching shop and sales history for you on whatever you search. So it also keeps the ladder as well. So this is kind of a neat little thing. And if you normally use this for sales history and you like refresh your browser and then you come back, it'll actually save it to the last thing that you did, so you don't have to keep switching.
Yeah, that's so awesome. That's so awesome. And it puts there's still people who use Card Ladder who don't even know about the sales history feature. So
well, now.
They will now. I know. I totally agree. It's such a neat way to shortcut getting where you want to go. And if you're like Jake Roy was pointing out to me, we don't even have any Michael Irvin cards in Card Ladder yet, and like we should. So in a situation like a Michael Irvin, even though there's no Michael Irvin cards in Card Ladder, you can hop over to sales history and you can still do some searching and some research.
If you guys don't know about sales history, you need to, because we're just like, all the features that we do going forward basically are centered around that, because it's so much data that we're able to utilize it to do a lot of our calculations, algorithms. We were able to like build things on the fly using those sales. So just kind of get familiar with it if you're not, and learn like the query language stuff, because that stuff's going to keep coming. All right, next. I did this one kind of for fun, but if you pick a card, let's say the Jordan Fleer, go to view all sales. I gave a little bit of love to the sales page. It was just like a boring old table, but now we've actually got the title of the sale, the auction house it came from, the image if we have it, the price. So a little bit, it's just like the same as the sales history page itself. So we're kind of now starting to blur the lines of like sales history versus our card profiles. The difference here is that these are all vetted. Obviously, they're attached to like a Card Ladder profile, whereas sales history is not vetted, but you still get kind of the same like user experience that you get on sales history. That's it. I don't want to spend much more time.
Yeah, but man, best week of features in a long, long time, and that's really saying something, because we roll out sweet features all the time.
That's because I had a lot of good time this week. I didn't have meetings. I just got to code. It was great.
Yes. Okay. All right. Let's move on. Let's get to some questions. So Leopard Man Cards sends a Happy New Year to everybody. Thank you. And he says, for everyone who didn't watch last week, is there a way that you guys could do the Spark Notes over a few of the better topics that were discussed? Thanks in advance. So is there anything we could recap on just in a minute or two here that for people who missed?
This week is the week of like big hobby news. So I think when we go through those, we're going to rehash any of the big hobby news we might have had last week. Other than that, the only discussion that stands out to me was the building your own personal brand, which we then touched on sports cards culture. But I think we'll probably get into that more tonight. I don't think there's nothing really else to me that we won't rehash tonight or is like big hobby news that we missed. You? You're back.
Okay. Yeah, I heard the answer. Okay, good. All right.
Did you have anything?
No, I agree. Like, just the one of the cool ones, talk about your personal brand and the hobby, and like that we talked about that at length on the sports cards culture episode this week. So other than that, it's lost into the abyss of the internet, and hey, it's an incentive to make sure you watch live if you can, because once in a while it's never going to make it to a recording. So, all right. Dillick Cards wants to know, what feedback have you guys heard about PSA's new regular service? I heard they're making great times on their returns. What have you heard about PSA's regular service, if anything?
I haven't heard anything. That kind of thing. My internet didn't cut. I'm switching rooms.
Sure.
I haven't heard anything. I mean, other than like people say, I've noticed that when they reintroduce a new service level, it's like it's always very quick. So like my understanding there is that they're not going to reintroduce it until they're comfortable with the turnaround times of reintroducing it. So that's my bit of news on that.
Yeah, right on. Glad to hear that. That's the word on the street. Okay, Bruin Killer says, let's discuss NFL voting for MVP. Should the voters reveal their votes, and is Aaron Rodgers going to get screwed?
This is in reference to the guy who, like, we found out isn't going to vote for him because he's mad at him about what happened in the offseason.
Which is very funny, too, because he's a local reporter in Chicago named Hub Arkish. So I've known about this guy for decades. I've listened to this guy's takes, and now all of a sudden everybody knows who Hub Arkish is. So go ahead. What do you think? What's going to happen here?
I don't know. This feels like a one-off situation, like an edge case of a Chicago guy that wants revenge because he's been kicking his team's butt. That's what it feels like to me. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I would hope that most writers are, focused on the football and not the off-the-field stuff. But I think he should win the MVP, I think. I haven't, dug into the stats too much, but, I think he's number one in QBR again. And, I mean, if you want to give it to, Jonathan Taylor or Cooper Kupp, I think that's okay as well. I'm not.
Yeah, on Bill Simmons' podcast yesterday, he and Peter Schrager talked about why Cooper Kupp has an MVP candidacy, and the high-level overview of that is Kupp is 130 yards away from owning the all-time yardage record in NFL history. He's 13 receptions away from owning the total receptions record. He's going to end the season with the most receptions, the most touchdowns, and the most yards, which last time that was done was in 2005. And on all, meaningful statistical metrics, he's having a better season than Jerry Rice's 1995 season, which previously was considered the gold standard for wide receivers. And in that year, Jerry Rice received 10 of the 50 MVP votes. So, by comparison, Kupp should at least get some votes, given that Jerry Rice did. And they also pointed out that none of the quarterbacks are doing that great. Rodgers does have the strongest case because he does lead the league in QBR and passer rating, and has the best record as a starting quarterback. But he's 8th in total yards. He doesn't lead the league in total touchdowns. Doesn't lead the league in yards per attempt. And his quarterback rating is 69 point something. I mean, that's more than 10 points lower than what it was when he won last year. So Just the quarterback position hasn't been that strong this year. And also, if you sort of zoom in on Rodgers' performance and you throw out the games that he played against NFC North teams, which make up 6 of his games, his statistics are very pedestrian. So maybe part of the reason why he looks so good this year is because he's been beating up on crappy teams. So that was part of the case. I don't think the voting is going to get into the weeds like that. I think you're going to take the best player on arguably the best team who has the best statistics of the quarterbacks. But they did make an interesting case for Cooper Kupp.
This is the year, I think, to your point, the quarterbacks are way down this year statistically. I don't know if that's defense is catching up or what it is, or COVID maybe, I'm not sure. But feels like the year to just go ahead and give it to a receiver, running back, and I don't think any NFL fan would have an issue with that.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. That was kind of the bottom line takeaway from Simmons and Schrager's talk. So
we haven't even touched. How did you skip the Tops news?
Oh, the Tops news is coming.
Okay.
We've got stuff on Tops as well. But I put a different topic ahead. I put several different topics ahead of it. Because, honestly, I'm not super pumped about this Tops news. That's just
I know. I just figured people would just want to hear our response on that right away.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll fast track it to be the second topic after the next one. I think the next one's the hotter topic in the industry right now.
We won't spend much time on it though, because we've talked about it. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So, card collecting 82, and I hope you guys know what this is in reference to. He says, does Card Kahuna, the self-styled $150 million young man, have a good reputation in the hobby? So that was a question on the topic of the Pokemon case that's going to be open tomorrow here in Chicago. Okay, and then South Park Cards 2 wrote in to say, and this, I think South Park and the next question homed in on what the real issue is here for our hobby. South Park says, if the case is fake, does that put into question Baseball Card Exchange's other authentications as well? And Card Shop Dad said, what effect does the Pokemon case being fake, if it in fact is, have on the world of authenticating unopened products? So we had those three questions come in on the topic of the Pokemon case. I wanted to get them out there, give voice to those questions. But now maybe you and I just have more of a freewheeling discussion on this topic for a minute or two. And this is more in your alley than it is in mine. So what do you have to say about this this whole first edition Pokemon case debacle?
Yeah, the whole thing is a mess. It's a big poopy mess because it's changed hands a lot, and there's a massive profit on the front end of it. So like the people that are purchasing it after are going to be really pissed off and want a refund. But I think we're going to have our answer tomorrow, hopefully. Shine and the Pokaju are flying out to Chicago. They're going to meet Logan there, I guess, and they're going to have BBCE actually open it and see what's going on. Now, the guy who started this whole thing, Rattle Pokemon, he's put up, some more flags that like, hey, even if you open this thing and you see first edition boxes, it doesn't mean it's legit because they could be fake boxes inside. Like the only way to actually know is to open up the boxes and then open up a pack.
Oh boy.
And look at the cards, which is like, I don't know that we want to go that far. So hopefully we get an answer. I mean, honestly, the only way you're going to get an answer quickly is like if it's not a first edition box right out the gate, right? You open the case and it's not that. So the BBCE, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
The BBCE thing is interesting. So Steve stated that like he doesn't have experience with Pokemon boxes and cases. So like I wouldn't say that their reputation is totally shot because they have a ton of experience with vintage sports primarily. So I think you can be confident in their product on that front. The issue is that like their website basically is like, hey, we're not liable for anything. So like I think there's some real issues there. I'd rather you dive into like the legalities of what they're, because this is kind of your realm of like the transparency and the vetting and the data stuff. Like this seems like a little bit of a shitty spot.
Yeah, I think it is. I think the worst case scenario actually is that there are public statements on record that BBCE or somebody representing BBCE it doesn't feel comfortable authenticating Pokemon cases, and then they went ahead and authenticated it anyway. I think that's the worst case situation, because if they had in the world in which they were confident in their authentication but they made a mistake, that's fine. People make mistakes. You learn from your mistake and you improve your processes going forward. No problem. I don't think anybody has a realistic problem with people who make a mistake from time to time. The problem is, to me, the biggest problematic scenario is if I come out and say, I'm not an expert on authenticating Pokemon stuff, but I go ahead and authenticate it anyway, and then it turns out to be fake. That calls into question judgment on a more systematic, larger scale. Why would I have authenticated something that I don't have the expertise to authenticate? But we may be, putting together public commentary in a hodgepodge fashion. And maybe what actually happened here is there are experts at BBCE who do specialize in Pokemon, and we just haven't heard from them. That's one of the problems of the asymmetrical information in situations like this, is we're never going to hear the full side of the story from BBCE. So that's a little bit unfortunate, though. I think the narrative that exists right now, whether it's true or not, is the worst narrative. So I just think that's really unfortunate. And I do think that this could be a pretty big blemish on the entire world of authenticating sealed products, because it already, seems a little difficult to do. So
Yeah.
what do you think about that? Let me throw it back to you.
I personally would not have even attempted to authenticate a brown box with a white sticker on it. There's just not enough.
Right.
There's not enough to it to be able to like differentiate it between something that's real and fake. It's literally just like a freaking brown box. And the guy who's the one putting out all the evidence that it's fake has so many red flags. If you watch that video, it's incredible. Like I've seen all of the videos, and at this point, I would be shocked if the thing is real, just because it's like, holy crap! Like there's no way all of this happened. This is a coincidence. And even to expand on that, the only other person who owns like any semblance of a case is the real King Pokemon, I think, Gary. Who's the guy that was on Pawn Stars. He last night on his live admitted that he thought it was real because he wanted it to be real. He was, he wanted it, like, emotionally, he felt like it should be real. He's happy about it. After him seeing the evidence, he's the only other person that even owns a case, and his is opened. But he's the only other person that even has a box like this, and he saw all the evidence. He's like, yeah, it's probably fake. So the chances of it being real seem to be really low right now. That's going to be an issue for the people on the front end of this deal who have profited a ton of money, took a huge risk, and now they're going to have to kind of undo some of that potentially. And I don't want to get into like the character of the people involved necessarily, because there's been a lot going on there. But the Card Kahuna guy seems to be not looking so great in this situation. He's kind of like threatening lawsuits and kind of getting into the, once you hire a lawyer, you start to look guilty kind of situation. So we'll see how that turns out.
What odds would somebody have to give you for you to take the side of the bet that says that the case is real? So if I was giving you 10-1 on your money, would you put up $10 to win $100? Or would the odds need to be, what would the odds need to be for you to take 100-1, 1,000-1? How much money would I need to give you back to put up $1 on the side of the case being real?
I guess 100-1, because like it was 1999, and who knows what sort of like packing materials they used and what sort of shortcuts the company took, and like potentially they just grabbed a box and slapped a label on it, but that's just they made so many of those cases, dude. Like, I don't know if you remember that era when we were kids. There was so much product. And even first edition, there's like the Charizard PSA 9 on the first edition population is like 600 something. Like, there's a lot, and you only get like one of those, like three, you get like 4 to 5 of those per case. So it's not like it's not like it's a rare thing. So I think my point is that I think they would have figured out how to organize things and keep it consistent and have some sort of system in place where you can tell things like that. There's just too many flags. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. And the stuff he got into in this most recent video of like pinpointing who he thinks it is, the guy from Canada, and like they did the deal from Canada. The multiple stories that have come out from Card Kahuna don't line up. It's just gross.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll know soon. Hopefully within 24 hours or less, we should know what.
That was the video of Shine and
the
Pokeju getting on the little private jet there.
Yeah, you have to tip your hat to the showmanship. They're definitely, especially Shine, diverting the PJ, the private jet, to Philadelphia to pick up some folks from the Pokemon community and turn this into an event, for better or worse, is a nice way to somehow find a win in what's potentially a gigantic loss for a lot of people.
And I think Logan and Shine are both very mature adults that understand what's going on, and they're not unreasonable. Like, they're both being very like calm and collected on this. So I think that really bodes well for everybody. Like, everyone's pretty like out in the open of who's who and like where this thing is going, where the line is. So I think it'll be fine. I'm not really worried about like the hobby or whatever. I know people are like, oh, Pokemon's screwed or whatever. The people involved are professional enough to not let something like that get too out of hand, in my opinion. Well
said. Here's a final musing that's a little bit out of left field, but I don't know. I just thought of it as we were talking. Maybe a problem here is, well, maybe on the one hand, there's a business opportunity to evolve the world of authenticating unopened product that I just can't think of, but maybe this can usher in that era just because of the types of premiums that unopened product is commanding and has been commanding for a long time. But maybe the other problem is that maybe unopened product shouldn't command such a premium that people would rather leave it unopened than open it. Maybe that's a problem. Maybe product wasn't meant to be put aside. It was meant to be open because the contents inside of it are supposed to be where the value ultimately ends up at. And so if we're in this situation where we're keeping this product unopened, but we don't have, reliable ways to authenticate it, the pricing should adjust so that it incentivizes people to open the product rather than play these weird games. So I think maybe this, if anything, is a leading indicator pointing to the fact that unopened product has gotten way too expensive relative to the contents that are inside of these sealed cases and boxes.
Agreed. I like that take.
All right, that'll do it for Pokemon. Cards and Candy 911, starting off 2022, his MVP campaign for 2022, very strong, his top question asker, says, as a player collector, would you want to see your players stick with their team and try to win there or move on to a different situation?
Oof. Man, I can think of like really great examples on both sides where it works out well,
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. Both situations can work out properly.
I would say like obviously ideally it would be better if they stay because like I'm thinking of like LeBron winning in Cleveland. I know he like left and came back. Dirk in Dallas, Kobe in LA. Like I think ideally they would stay. But there's just so many good examples of like guys switching teams and it just like and it making their career just like take off even more. Tom Brady to the Bucks. God, there's gonna be like way more that I'm just blanking on, but like you know what I mean? There's Shaq going to the Heat worked out. Like there's just always really good examples of players leaving a team and it almost like boosting their because it shows that they can win in multiple places or it shows that they're like they can adapt to different situations. I guess he's asking more about like me directly as a player, PC. Let me take it more of like I would rather collect cards where they're all in the same jersey.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say, too. How about I just want to collect a player whose rookie card looks like what they look like when I go watch them in person or watch them on TV?
Yeah, that's really simplifying it down to like how a collector thinks about it. That's a good answer.
That's our OCD. That's the collector OCD kicking in.
I really like that's actually like my thing with Penny Hardaway where I only collect him in Magic jerseys with pinstripes because that's how I remember him. And it was like pre-injuries and everything after is just sort of like really muddied for me and it just kind of like it makes me, like be disappointed in what turned out for his career. So I like to remember him in that state. Same for like LeBron. Not the same, but like I like to collect LeBron in like his first stint with the Cavs because it's just like he was so young and it just like reminds me of the time of that era of cards. And so if you think about it in those terms, it's kind of interesting to just pick like the team, the jerseys, the look, the feel.
Yep. Well, think about Michael Jordan Wizards cards. People like pretend like those cards don't even exist. Like they're still playing years Michael Jordan cards, but I never really went out of my way to get any of them either.
Would you rather have a Wizards, like a really, like let's say that the values of the two cards are equal, but like a Wizards high-end card or a like exquisite post playing years?
Exquisite Bulls wins, even though it's not playing years. I don't know why. That's just maybe we're onto something here with the jersey thing and remembering players. But yeah, I don't know. That's a good topic. I don't think there's a right answer. I think that that's one that's going to be best left to the proclivities of the particular collector.
What about like Luka and Zion though? Like, because what if you like see the writing on the wall where they can't win and you want to like see your player like fulfill his actual talent and like see the card values reach the potential they could with them being on a winning team,
Yeah, but then they're no longer in the jersey of their rookie card, which that's the trade-off. And the fact that it's even a question is weird, because like realistically, you should just be like, yeah, I want my player to go to the best situation and have the best chance of winning, but it doesn't really work that way. So I don't know. It's a good one. But like at the end of the day, yeah, I want the player to go to the best situation. Like it worked out for Giannis when he took that gamble a year ago, a little bit more, and stayed in Milwaukee and won. But like, if you went to a Giannis collector and said, hey, if Giannis goes to the Lakers or something silly, or goes to the Heat, and I promise you he'll win 2 of the next 5 NBA titles, or he can take your chances in Milwaukee. I mean, if I was a Giannis collector, I'd say, let's go get my 2 rings. I'll take the rings. So
I saw an article that was like, trade rumors, Christian McCaffrey.
Oh, well, well, before we get to tops, which is on deck next, this question was asked. So Dillick Card says, what are your thoughts on the Panthers looking at offers on Christian McCaffrey? I personally would like to see him go to a contender. I'd love to see him go to like the Patriots. That would be a great fit for a player like him. He can follow in the mold of Danny Woodhead and Rex
Burkhead.
Burkhead. Are they both head? Burkhead and Woodhead?
He's like way better than those 2 players, but okay.
Yeah, but like, the mold of that okay, but I don't think
White running back.
Yeah, like the small little white running back. But I don't think that he would go to the Patriots. I think like his situation might end up being they trade him and a first round pick or a few first round picks to like to Houston for Deshaun Watson or something like that. And then he just goes, now his quarterback is no longer Sam Darnold / Cam Newton. Now it's, Tyrod Taylor / Davis Mills. And it's like, okay, we haven't really gotten much better here. So if he went to a contender, I would support it, even though those Carolina jerseys with the Carolina blue and black are so nice on sports cards. But we'd make the sacrifice to get him in a winning situation.
See, you just changed your answer on a specific question. That's what I'm. Yeah, there you go, buddy.
It is. It's different when you have like a real direct situation and not just hypothetical.
That was the question, though. That was his question, though. It was direct.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I especially like in football, man. You only play 16 or I guess 17 times a year in the regular season. Winning is just harder to come by. Isn't just. I've watched McCaffrey partake in like 5 wins over the last 2 years. Yeah, I'd love to see him win. I'd love to watch him win 10 times a year. So, all right. Let's go on to Fanatics. Dormant Stash says, what is Fanatics doing to get me excited about the next generation of card manufacturing? What do you think about that?
They're buying Tops. Isn't that like that's the big headline news, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Luber posted that really cool custom graphic they made about pre-today Tops, after today Tops. Like Tops is going to continue making cards.
Yeah, this is a nice segue from our discussion last week about brands. And clearly the focus, and I think we kind of like have been hearing about this. I think we heard Luber talk about it directly. But like the thing that makes the hobby tick at its core is the brands. It's like it's the Tops, it's the PSAs, it's the Beckett's, it's these companies that like we all remember as kids and have still been around for a long time. And so to continue the Tops brand, I think is really important. And to have Fanatics buy the Tops brand, this is why like this topic might be a little bit boring for our audience because like I don't really see much changing. Like they're just gonna have Tops continue, and Luber said so as himself. That graphic was very boring because it's like, yeah, we own the brand now and we can start printing things sooner.
Yeah, well, I even heard my buddy Kendall on Clubhouse put it this way. He said this could be understood as an olive branch to collectors from Fanatics, that they are acquiring and continuing the brands and the tradition and the legacy of Tops. Like that's what this is. This is Fanatics giving collectors what they've asked for. And I think that's a cool way to think about it.
The potentially boring part of this is that this doesn't expedite anything in terms of basketball and football. Like we still have to wait for the licenses to expire with Panini, unless they buy Panini, obviously. Right. But I think the most interesting topic that can come out of this is like looking ahead to Topps Chrome for football and basketball again, which I think is very exciting. And I'm sure you have a question on there that's like, are all my Topps Chrome cards going to be worth more now that this has happened? And I think I asked you that directly. I have a lot of Topps Chrome cards, Chris. Can you just assure me that I'm rich now?
Yeah, well, okay, there was two, you foreshadowed two questions there, so let's do them in order. Ricky Puito says, will Fanatics buy Panini?
I have no idea. I'm not going to guess that. I have no clue.
Yep, I have no idea as well. Now, different question that I'm just coming up with, spinning off of this question. Do you want Fanatics to buy Panini?
Not really. Is that weird that I don't?
Well, I don't know. It depends upon the reasons.
I don't know. I feel like Panini, like sticking around and, having like UFC and F1 and soccer and like continuing a little bit of competition with Fanatics could be good. Like I just don't want like, I don't necessarily think it's good for Fanatics to just like own everything and like, oh, now we own all the licenses, we own the companies. Like, okay, we're just gonna start printing basketball and football. I don't know. Kind of removes some of the competition, it removes some of the unknown, like the mystery and the fun of it, maybe.
Yeah, that's a great point. I didn't even think about it from that angle. I thought about it from the selfish angle of I want to continue to have Prism basketball and Prism football and National Treasures. I like those brands. That's what I was thinking about it from. But no, you make a great point. Panini can be out there serving the competitive role in a free market. So, good point. I still hope they do buy Panini though. Just because I'd like to see some of my favorite brands from Panini continue.
Yeah, so you're continuing the trend of like the brands. You like the brands you like. So would they treat Panini the same way that they are saying that they're treating Topps, which is like we'll keep them, continuing to produce the same types of things and keep the hobby going, or would Panini be different?
I think they end up mixing and matching with both companies. So, Panini has a track record of success in unlicensed baseball products as well. Like their Prism baseball and Immaculate baseball, and National Treasures baseball, it does really well. Donruss baseball and stuff. So I think they'd end up mixing and matching, and I think ultimately Topps and Panini, right now they have competing digital card marketplaces as well, and Panini has the Panini Instant cards that you can order directly from the website, and Topps has Topps Now, and like all that stuff would have to get, I think they would make that stuff a lot more. They'd blend that stuff together. So I don't know. They'll end up changing some stuff around, but as long as the end consumer still gets the products that they like and that they want, in the quantities that they like them, and then.
Carvin asked the. No, go ahead.
Well, that's just kind of where I'm at with the Fanatics.
No, Carvin asked.
Fuck, I must be freezing.
You're just like lagging a little bit. Yeah, I'll jump into it. Carvin asked the question. Topps Chrome versus Prism. That's the interesting. Topps Chrome versus Prism. It's like you got your people who are. I think that makes it more fun. Like I think it drives interest in the hobby. I think it's going to be a lot of like Jordan versus LeBron type people who are like staking their putting their stake in the ground and like not budging and stuff. But I think that garners more interest if you have that sort of competition, and people that are staying true to like the Topps Chrome Gold out of 50, and the people who are like, no, the Prism Gold out of 10 is better. Like, which is better? Which is the true rookie? Like, what's the actual one? There's so many like interesting subplots that could come out of Chrome versus Prism that I think I'm with you on that front. That would be freaking awesome. I would love to have both options, and it would. Honestly, I think it would lower the price of both because like now there's more supply, and like I don't have to compete with I don't have to compete with everyone on like getting the Prism Gold. Now like I could be only competing with people that like Chrome instead, and it just makes it a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, it does. And if Fanatics scales and grows the demand and the consumer base of the hobby the way that they'd like to, then they're going to need plenty more products to meet that demand. So doubling the offerings effectively in the main sports is a really neat way to do that. But
We
yeah,
would have some fun arguments too. I'm
yeah,
Chrome, you're Prism.
yeah, no, I'm definitely a Prism simp, uh, big time these days. So okay, so then the thing I wanted to fire off here is like I'm over the Fanatics news. It was very exciting when it happened last year. All the things that made it exciting are true. It's they have plans to expand and grow our business. They're a much bigger company than any company that's ever manufactured cards before. They've got really smart, capable people at the helm. So I'm excited for all those reasons. It's going to be creative. It's going to be fun. It's going to grow our industry. It's going to be great. But I'm over it. I've internalized it. I've accepted it. The shock value has worn off. Okay, now we're here. Now it's time to start executing it. And so that day actually is already here. Now they own Topps. Don't fuck it up. Okay? Don't screw up what we've already got, because you know what? It's very good. So that's where I'm at now, is like, I'm very excited. Things are good, but I understand that things could go bad. So let's continue the hobby as is, make improvements at the margins, but let's see things continue to grow and blossom from here. Now I get worried. Now I get concerned, about the direction things could go in. So that's where I'm at now. The shock value is worn off. This is really great, but now we have to do it. Now we have to live it. We're no longer in that. We're no longer in the prospecting phase. Now the season has started. Now the players are on the floor, and you know what? We need to produce. Damn it.
Yeah, hell yeah. Let's end it there. That was good. Well said.
Okay. No, you want to hear any of the other questions on Fanatics? There are a few others.
You can say them, but like I don't have anything else to say.
Okay. We touched on the value of other Topps cards as a result of this deal. Do you want to like riff on that for just a second? Like, what does it actually do? The fact that Topps did make basketball for 10 years or so, and now it's going to be making basketball again in a few years. Does that make older Topps Chrome stuff more desirable, for example?
Well, I'm nervous to like answer this because I own a lot of top stuff and I don't want to, but like I don't see how it doesn't, right? Like you're introducing a new brand that has a ton of nostalgia. People are going to be excited.
Yep.
People are going to naturally then wonder like, okay, where did Topps Chrome start? What are like the older ones? Now that I can continue my Topps Chrome journey, like where should I go back and I think it's very obvious to me that yes, it's going to get people excited about the older Topps Chrome stuff. I just, to what extent or like how organic that is, I don't know.
Yep, I agree with that. There's nothing quite like the excitement of new product to stimulate interest in a ripple effect fashion down the line towards other products or other like similar things. Like that's always a good thing for the hobby, for
There's
those
like
particular items.
I was looking at like for example, I think it's the 2020 like the mini LeBron where he's like dunking and he's like super tiny. Like the PSA 9 of that gold prism is like 100 grand or whatever. It's like a ridiculous number. You can get like a finest gold LeBron from like 2004 or 5 for like 10 grand. And it's like
There you go.
I'm not saying that you should just go out and go buy finest gold because I say so and it's better or whatever. And like I get prism, I understand it. But there's a lot of cool stuff from like the older finest in chrome era that I think has a lot of collectability to it. And there's a lot of like undiscovered product out there that people are going to be reminded of with this new stuff. So I think there's some interesting avenues to it.
There you go. All right. Speaking of finest, Nines Are Fine wanted to know, are we being too bullish on Topps Chrome? Are we looking at Topps Chrome with rose-colored glasses? Because
Yes,
I'm more excited to see Topps Finest come back. That's from Nines Are Fine.
we definitely are. If you follow baseball, Topps Chrome, Bowman, and Finest, there's like a billion parallels. And that was always like one of the questions that I've heard is like, oh, it would be awesome if Topps could come back. And then some people are like, really? Because they do things pretty similarly to the way Panini does today, which is, the complaint being that they overproduce, there's too many parallels. Chrome does that as well. There's a ton of parallels. Finest has a ton of parallels. There's a lot of duplication with Chrome and Finest. So it's not all roses there. I guess I'd be more interested in seeing how like Fanatics might potentially nudge them in the right direction on that front, given how much we know that Lubert is, sensitive to this topic on overproducing and finding the right amount and stuff like that. So I'm more interested in like the combination of Fanatics plus having the Topps brand and how they address that directly.
I'm with you. And on a different product-related question, N Herrera21 says, is NBA Bowman's Best underappreciated relative to Topps Chrome?
I mean, I personally like Finest better, just like in a total vacuum, than Chrome. I don't know about Bowman's Best, though. It's a cool product. I mean, I think it's all cool. I think like that late 90s, like when they really started to figure out the chromium technology and like kind of play with it and like see how they could use it in different sets and like different brands. I think it's a really fun era because they're testing a lot of stuff out. Some of it green, some of it doesn't. There's a lot to explore there. I'll just say that. Like if you're a collector and you're looking for something fun to try that's not super expensive, there's just a lot to look at from that era.
Yeah. I liked Finest the best of the late 90s stuff because it was numbered. Then there were huge Monster Chase Finest basketball cards from 97, 98 that were numbered. And to the best of my recollection, Topps Chrome and Bowman's Best did not have numbered in 97, 98. So that biases me towards Finest.
2005 Finest is like my favorite looking like chromium product, but it's also the year that they like went way overboard on the parallels. There's like 4 101s and like there's an out of 9, 19, 29, 39, 49, 59, 69, 79. It's like there's like a green X fractor, a red X fractor. It's like I wish you hadn't, so that's kind of what my point is. Like there's some good and bad here. We'll just have to see how it plays out.
Yeah, we have quite a bit of 2005 Finest. I think we have pretty much every 05 Finest LeBron parallel that's not a 1-of-1 in card ladder. So
really?
It's pretty cool looking cards too. So like, let's see here. So you've got the gold X Fractor. You have the regular X Fractor out of 229, the red out of 169, green out of 89, refractor, just the shred refractor at 349, and then the base as well. And so like, let me just pull up the gold X Fractor because it's a pretty cool looking card. So
yeah, I have the gold refractor of this one, just to let you guys know I do own the gold of this one.
Yeah.
It's a cool action shot. I mean, I just like Finest. Finest to me was like more of like the purist collector. Like Chrome had like the brand name, right? But Chrome is usually not as good at photos in my opinion, and Finest was a little bit more risky on the design. So like it ended up having some cooler looks. The designs, it's kind of like the Optic versus Select versus Prism. It's the same kind of thing.
No doubt. All right, we had one other topic, Command, multiple questions. And that is ISA. ISA.
This is like the FedEx accountant shit. Like, it's the same thing. I have the same answer every time. I don't care what the brand name is. You could rattle 3 random letters of a grading company, and I'll tell you the same answer.
I haven't even said the questions yet.
You know what the question is? Go ahead.
All right. The first question.
Something about influencers, probably.
The first question is from Riverfront Collectibles, and he says, when are you guys cracking out your PCs and sending them to ISA? So can we just get an answer head on to when is this happening and will it be on Instagram Live?
It's not happening. It's the same answer, man. Like, I don't know anything about ISA. I know that like some influencers are jumping behind it. I think I even saw Gary Vee posting it, which is laughable to me because he was always touting like you got to get PSA, you got to do PSA, and now here he is like talking about ISA, a company no one's ever even heard of. And like you're just like Chris, you'll never see yourself and me being untrue to ourselves and just like pumping something we don't know anything about. Like you're never gonna see it. So just give it up. Like we're not gonna be the guys that are like, oh yeah, we stand behind this product because our friend said so, and like that's just not who we are, and it's not going to be the case on this one either. We're not going to get behind, a big influencer crowd jumping on this, and we're also not going to just like blindly shit all over it because we just don't know what it is. Like you have no clue what it is. It's so new. I think they said they came out in 2010 though. I don't know what that means really. Like, how have we not heard of it till now? But like the whole point of grading, this is the cookie cutter answer for this question. The entire point of grading is historical database of cards that have already been graded. You need to build up a long history of it before I believe in it. You're not going to see any of the prices go up until a really long time of established grading credibility, and no one is going to be able to catch up to PSA, Beckett, and SGC. It's not going to happen.
I don't know, guys. ISA posted on my Maxi Kleba post of my card that I should grade it with them. And no other grading company did that. So did they win that argument because they were the only ones involved in it?
Wow. Customer outreach?
Yeah.
Or bots gone awry.
David said, can you see the comments yet?
I can't. I cannot see the comments.
David said, he said, mission to put Josh on tilt accomplished. Okay, good job.
All right. So Jordan Hudson said basically, what's the big deal with it and why is everyone posting about it? Look, people are going to, try to get their name of their business out there and stuff, but Josh nailed it. Josh absolutely nailed it in terms of what does it take to build a grading business in this hobby, and there's no shortcut to it. It's going to be a long, painful process, and there's just no other way about it. So, but
Do you have anything to say? Do you have anything to say about you and me, RE influencers, and trying to like sway people on things we don't believe in?
Well, I actually don't mind in this particular situation, especially influencers touting ISA, because I have faith in the judgment and the reason of the community to understand what's happening and to make their own informed decisions based on it. So to me, it's a good opportunity to see, I don't want to put it into coercive terms, but it's a good opportunity to see who's for sale. Who's for sale? So I like to see it. I do. And you know what? There's products that I shill for as well. In fact, there's one product that I shill very heavily for all the time, which is Card Ladder. So look, this is part of the game. But the only thing that I ask for is the transparency for positions to be disclosed. So if you're shilling for ISA and you own a piece of it, we should know that. We should know if you're shilling for ISA and you're sponsored as a content creator. We have the right to know that as well. And if you're shilling for ISA, but it's just because you just like and you believe in the product, let us know that too. But that transparency is very important for us as a community to be able to make judgments about how much stock or credibility we want to put into, advertisements for a product.
You dodged my question a bit, so I'm going to come back to it. But first,
Yeah.
Stars 90s cards. I don't know if you could see this on the screen. He asked the question, when will we see more, 90s basketball insert sets added to Card Ladder? Do we actually have a lot of basketball insert stuff, right? Like a ton.
But I love to hear that. So, and Christina's here too. Christina, the people want more 90s basketball card insert sets on Card Ladder. So
Yeah, well, as I've said before, they can DM me their choices.
okay, Christina said it. Christina says DM her names of the sets that you guys like to see on there.
Dars is he's been a collector for a really long time. I've chatted with him for years.
Penny Hardaway.
So yeah, Penny Hardaway is his favorite. So send over some suggestions to Christina. She would love to add some. No, my question was more direct. What is like your personal take on it? Like, what would you do for yourself? Because maybe like this may not be direct advice for everyone in the audience, but I think it's good to hear from someone who has really high moral standings of like how you treat this topic as an individual. Like how, like someone's offering to pay you money to shill for something, or like you're feeling the pressure of your peers pushing something that you don't necessarily believe in. How do you approach that? You, Chris, personally?
Yeah. it can get very delicate because I think some of the people who are promoting ISA are friends with people who own it. And so maybe they look at it as helping their friend, but they don't see that there are ramifications to it that make people become uncomfortable. Like, you know, are you pushing a new grading company and then you lead people to grade with it, and then that grading company, you know, because it hasn't been around for a long time, maybe it goes on the downturn. Or, you know, people are very conscientious about, you know, making careful, wise decisions in the hobby, and they have trust in quote unquote influencers or social media accounts to steer them down the right path. Also, you know, people have vested interests. Like, what do you want people to do? People's cards are in PSA slabs, they're in BGS slabs, they're in SGC slabs. It's going to take a long time to convince people to go through the rigmarole of crossing over their slabs to a new grading company or trying out and trusting a new grading company. It's just going to take years and years and years and years and years. And there's going to be pushback, and it's just natural. It's, you know, you're asking people to change their traditions in a hobby that they already love. So you're going to get pushback from that. Look, you know, it's especially for people who are just helping their friends and stuff like that get their business off the ground. I completely get it. And people have a right to be sponsored, and people have a right to own products and promote their products. The gold standard here, and the right answer to the question, is be fully transparent about it. Disclose whatever your interest is. That's the way that everybody can be fine, is disclose what the interest is. Are you promoting a product for a friend? Are you an owner in this company? Are you an investor in this company? Is it your company? Are you sponsored by this company? That's always going to be the right answer. Give everybody all the information that they deserve to have so they can evaluate, you know, what you're posting and why you're posting it. To me, that's it. And I don't like to promote a lot of companies, but people don't ask me to promote a lot of companies. So I don't have a ton of experience with that, right? Like, you know, Truly, you know, you've been negotiating your sponsorship with Truly on the air for a few months. So, you know, maybe you're better equipped to answer this question.
Well, I just like, I don't know, I feel like you and I, like our personalities, we're too stubborn to just like, you know, to try to like fake through something, to try to like say we like something that we don't. Like, I'm not shilling for Truly. This is like truly what I drink, you know, like I eat Chipotle once a week. That's just the way it is. I don't know. I can't lie to anyone. I'm too, you know, we're very transparent. And, you know, people will say potentially like, hey, you guys are shilling for Card Ladder all the time, but I think you kind of rounded that out and answered it for me, which is, you know, we tell people we built Card Ladder, we're the founders, we have poured, you know, all of our hours and all of our brain power into that for a year and a half. It's our passion. So like, we're just going to have, you know, that's just going to keep coming out of us.
Yeah, exactly. And it's an overlap because you were talking about authenticity too. Like, we just literally love Card Ladder. So, and we love, you know, we work on it every day, but we legitimately are shills. We're legitimate shills.
Today you texted me, you're like, Card Ladder's dope. And I'm like, it's a pretty dope app. Like, I really like looking at it.
Yeah, because what prompted that was the new global search, because I just think that's such a nice feature that solves like a huge problem that people have, which is like their card isn't in Card Ladder yet. Well, then we're going to like shortcut you to the next best thing, which is look at the sales history for it. And if you find a copy of the card on the sales history, you can one-click it into your collection. So like we actually made like leaps and bounds, I feel, in expediting processes that already existed in the app, but that just weren't like super obvious.
And you notice that both of those were customer feedback. I don't know if you knew that.
Yep.
So like, I don't even know that I connected those dots, but now that I have different dots of like how I see sales history, but those two dots I did not see. So, you know, kudos to the structure in which we've built of, you know, listening to customer feedback and that being sort of our leading in and how we build things.
Yeah, totally. All right, let's move on to the next topic. Yamwax said, would you rather have available to spend on the hobby more time or more money? And then he fills in some color on the situation. He says, this has been on my mind lately because I start a new executive role outside of the hobby on Monday. Congrats, Yamwax.
Nice.
He says, I've been self-employed for the past 4 years, so I could easily carve out several hours per week to do research, connect, and collect. But now I'll likely have more money, but much less time to spend on the hobby.
The most valuable thing that exists in life and everyone's going to realize this sooner or later, is time. No matter how much money Elon Musk has or Jeff Bezos, the one thing they wish they could buy that they cannot is more time. So the answer to this is always time, and even for the hobby, because like if I gave you $1 million and you went and spent that $1 million on cards, it would fulfill you for a very short amount of time. I promise you. The time that you spend in the hobby and like the effort and energy you put into it is way more valuable, and like getting to that goal and reaching that milestone or that card that you've always wanted is way more valuable than just getting it because you have $1 million. This is the right answer, and I don't care what you say.
Yeah, that's good. I agree. Look, collecting to me is just as fun when we have $200 mail days coming in as when you have that $20,000 or I don't know, $100,000 mail day. It's just as fun. It's just as fun. So to me, the money is money just kind of like lets you pick what table you want to sit at, but the time to enjoy the hobby, we even made similar decisions to this. Like we actually sort of faced a decision like this when we decided to plunge into card ladder, being people with extremely viable career paths outside of the hobby. But we said, but wouldn't it be better to spend more time, like way more time in the hobby, even if it means, not having the same career prospects, at least, or less certainty surrounding them at the start. So I agree. And like our actions bear that out. Christina like sidles up to me when she's ready to like weigh in on a topic. She's just creeping over in her chair, getting ready to say something. So maybe I should turn it over to her. Go.
Okay.
Yes.
First off, congratulations, Corey. Super proud of you and wish you nothing but the best. And second of all, in support of your decision, money helps. Because these guys are going to tell you time, but I'm going to tell you that you made the best decision for you and your family. And if the hobby has to take a back seat to that for a little while, that's just how it is. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Christina's way to. Thank you, Christina.
Well, you guys were just like
another nation heard from.
We left no wiggle room, and she's giving wiggle room. Fine.
Yeah. No,
I don't know, like, if people quite know the story 100% the way through of what you did when we started Card Ladder, but, like, we were basically confronted with a tough, semi-tough thing where, like, you had spent a pretty large amount of time and money and effort into a law career, and then it basically came to, like, this one day where it was like, you want to give all that up and, like, just throw that in the garbage for, like, a completely totally risky startup of something that we have no idea if it's going to work, but it seems kind of cool. And I feel like you didn't even think about it for that long. You just like, I tried not to like force you into the card ladder route, but you kind of just like made that plunge, and it was much less of a plunge for me because I was able to keep the other job and it was like the same type of work basically. Like I was still in tech. You were just like, dude, I'm giving up all that work I did. I'm not doing any law. I'm completely shifting. Like I'm just totally taking this monster risk. So kudos to you for that decision. That was insane.
Yeah, well, it goes to the heart of this question. Time is limited, and man, isn't it better to do something that you love to do? So I guess that's kind of where it ends up. And law isn't that bad either, but man, the opportunity to build an app in the hobby is, you just can't pass that up. So,
well, I know how much lawyers make. I have a lawyer and an accountant, and those guys aren't cheap. So I know how much money you.
No, they're not cheap. They are definitely not cheap. All right. Great question, Yam. I'm sure everybody has different opinions on this as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Mostly 90s basketball card said he's moving into a house in the spring with an unfinished basement, so he can customize it. And ultimately,
that's my dream, is a basement.
Yeah. So he goes, ultimately the kids will take over everything, but I still can have my hopes and dreams. Describe your ideal at-home card setup. The desk, the shelves? Is anything displayed? Is there a gigantic TV monitor, storage, a safe, a walk-in vault with a big heavy metal door that makes a scary locking noise? So what blank canvas, what does your ideal at-home card room look like?
Oh, what a great question. I think the important thing to note on this is that it's only a card room. This is coming from someone that has kids and a wife. What always ends up happening of like, oh, this is my room. Eventually, like things start to creep in that are not yours, and like all of a sudden you share the room, and then all of a sudden you own none of the room. The most important feature is that the room.
He says that.
The most important feature of the room is that it's dedicated to this purpose and this purpose alone of the card storage. But a walk-in vault would be so sick. Ample storage for product that you want to open, drawers for sleeves, and top loaders, and a big old like monitor to watch games. Man, all that. One of my dreams has always been to have a really nice basement. We don't have basements really in Arizona. And I know you guys do over there, so I'm pretty jealous of that. But aren't you in a basement right now?
I'm definitely. We're in a basement converted to an office right now. It's basically
Yeah.
a card room, a card office, you might say.
Don't you love basements?
I do like basements.
I really like cold, dark places. I like caves. I like to be like very isolated and like nestled in a corner.
The card cave. The card cave. Here, I'll throw in something to that. I want my card setup to be organized in a way that's optimized towards me scanning easily into my computer to do my tracking, and easily set up for me to facilitate selling stuff, and then like having to package it into USPS envelopes, and like, I just have all my supply, literally all my supply. My scanner is right up here. My
Yep.
USPS supplies are right down here. My computer's right here. So when I need to sell something or package something and ship it out, all the stuff is super easily accessible. That's an important part of optimizing the card cave.
You have that today.
I have that today.
You're living the dream, my friend.
Yeah, he is. Tell him, Josh. He's living the dream.
What is this?
I've never really been like a big. I mean, you guys know I drive a Honda Civic. I've just never really been like big into like, having like this massive house and like this fancy cars, and like I just need my little space. I need like a little corner, like you described. You just like those things are pretty simple to set up. It's not like you're asking for a walk-in vault and like a 90-inch screen built into your. You're not asking for overly fancy and ridiculous things. You just kind of want like simple space.
Yeah. Yep. And the hobby has never been. We put like 6-figure items in shoeboxes. Like, this is not glamorous. That's one of the cool things about the hobby, I guess, is like it's cardboard to cardboard. At the end of the day, where it's, even if it's super expensive cardboard inside of a plastic case, it's still just inside a shoebox or something. So one thing I don't actually like, I don't like an overdone card cave. I don't like that. I don't like 1,000,000 cards on the wall. I don't like, this posters and signed jerseys everywhere. Like, I want it to be a little bit smaller, simpler, cards like in the safe, so I can go take them out and look at them if I want to, but then they can just be out of my sight, because I get sick of cards. I need them to be put away. And then, like, look, like on my desk right now. All right, this is how this works. This is all I have out. I have this week's mail days, and then I brought this. This had already been put away. Okay, this didn't even last a day. It got put away. And I brought out this one in case we talked about set collecting. That's it. That's all that I want to look at. All the other stuff, I find I take much better comfort in it being neatly organized, cataloged, and I know right where it is, on what shelf or what location. That's what I like.
You might be the only person in the world that has a Marvin Bagley card in one of those leather. How much was that? How much? Tell the people, how much was that card?
Did I buy this one or did you? I think I bought this for like $175 maybe or something like that.
Okay. It was a little bit more than I thought.
Yeah, it wasn't crazy.
Still a rookie.
Yeah. Yeah, and plus it's for the set, So
You're a set collector goob now.
I guess so. Because that price point has driven me to that. Price point has definitely driven me to that. I just like those mid-range mail days. That's just
Dude, we're the new blowout. We are blowout now. Whether you like it or not, like, we are blowout.
We are the new blowout.
Oh.
Someone tagged me in a story that was like, did you get tagged in that story? It was like that we're, telling.
No, I did not. Card letter got tagged, Christina got tagged, and you got tagged, but I did not.
What the fuck?
I don't know. They forgot about me.
Lamine and Mike Giuseppe.
Like that we look down on people? I feel like I try really hard not to do that, but, whatever.
He said he was joking because I told him that Chris was teasing me that Chris wasn't tagged.
Oh, you snitched on me.
I did snitch on you. And
I love how
attacked. Why wasn't Hoj included on this? And he said he forgot to add Hoj.
Oh, great. Now I'm attacked.
Yeah.
my favorite is when people are like, haha, Chris, your cards are ugly, and you're like, what? How is that nice to me? Like, that's not actually that funny.
Yeah, sometimes, man, something gets lost in the translation of social media speak.
Or people just like don't know when to stop.
Or that. All right. Mad City. That's a good question. Do you have anything else in the card cave, or should we move on?
I think it was Mad City, the one that tagged me, the one you just said his name.
Oh, is it really? That's who it is? Okay, well, look,
This question is getting, like, run through with a fine-tooth comb. This better be a good fucking question. This guy's going to be tagging me, then let's hear what he's got to say.
Okay, all right. Mad City Collector. Is that who it is?
I don't know.
All right,
It's
Mad City.
James was the one who did it, but he actually he watches all. He's probably watching right now. He's actually like a fan of Card Ladder and respects everything we do. Like he was like, I didn't mean to offend. Like it was like a meme that I guess didn't land.
So Christina's like, shut the fuck up, Josh, and just like be nice.
Yeah. Don't look down on him, Josh.
I'm not. No, that's the point. I saw the post. I'm trying to do the opposite of that.
All right. Well, here's his question. What would be your top 5 features or characteristics of a card that make it collectible, and put that in order of importance?
1 through 5. I like this. Hold on. Give me a second.
What's your
1?
top 5?
Oh yeah. Ooh. 1 is this might shock you. 1 is historical significance, or like, I don't want to say popularity because I hate that word, but kind of like that.
Yeah.
2 is rarity.
Mm-hmm.
3 is aesthetics.
Mm-hmm.
4 is like the in-game photo. It's got to be like a photo of like something that I can get behind.
Okay.
I don't know. I can't really think of anything else other than like this. I'll just say like the set that it's in.
Yeah, because like your number 1 actually has a bunch of components to it. Like a historically important card. Well, like that means an iconic player. That means an iconic stats.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm with you on that. For me, rarity has become much, much more important. So like I have rarity right up there, same, just as high as you do. I wouldn't change much about that. I go iconic status, rarity, then aesthetics.
Let's put player in there. Player is so important.
Yeah, if you want to break out the components of what makes a card iconic, Yeah, players at the very top then. It has to be a player I want to collect. As much as I revere and respect, Honus Wagner cards or Mickey Mantle cards, I don't collect those players, so I'm never gonna chase those. So, even though they're super iconic cards.
So I do this thing where I go through these like waves of like collecting something new, and I kind of go all in on that, and I buy a bunch of it, and then I end up and then I end up buying too much, and I consolidate, and I sort of like pare down to like only the very few of what I want, and then I move on, and I just, I keep doing this over and over. That's my cycle, right? So I was looking at my Flickr, and the Flickr is my landing spot for everything that makes it through all these waves, and it's like the final PC. This is my actual like locked in PC. Like every card is like serial numbered to 50 or lower. So like I always end up gravitating towards, that's not a flex, it's just like a way of describing that, like if you actually pare down to exactly specifically what you really want to keep long term in the PC, it ends up being rarity a lot of times, because it's like there's a lot of reasons to that. Primarily, like, I won't be able to get it back, so I don't want to sell it. I enjoy being one of the few people who own this thing, etc. Like, so rarity, I want to give an extra little bit of love to rarity.
Yep, I'm with you. Okay. Grail Card Quest says, do you have any wisdom on the best day for a seller to end an auction on eBay? I have heard Sundays or Mondays, but I'm not sure if there's data that supports this. So there isn't any systematic data that supports this, but anecdotally, as somebody who looks at like thousands of sales every night, Sunday always has seemingly 2 to 3 times as many sales as the other days of the week. And stuff routinely goes beneath comps in my experience of the sales that I look at on Sunday nights. Sunday nights is just a glut of supply. And I don't know how the theory got started that Sunday night's a great night to sell stuff. But from my experience looking at many sales, Sunday night is the worst night to sell stuff. It's the night when so much stuff ends, and it's just the risk of your stuff getting lost in a sea of other stuff is very high. I don't know about Monday nights, but Mondays, it's like Sunday's usually the highest sales volume, but also the most supply. Monday is usually the lowest sales volume, but also prices. I don't really remember ever seeing like Mondays being like a great day to sell either. I think those are actually the 2 worst days. I think Monday is like the lowest energy day, and Sunday is just an oversupply. So I wouldn't do either, honestly. I think you're right to pinpoint like evening is a good time to sell. And during an evening time slot, like East Coast people are still awake too. So like maybe like a 10 p.m. Eastern ending or something. I don't know. But I can tell you that despite not having like any systematic studies of this, like Sunday nights I would avoid, and Monday nights I would avoid too. I would look at some of the other nights of the week.
I could run something against Card Ladder that's like the delta to like the average price of a card and the dates they end on and whether they're plus or minus. But anecdotally, I've always thought Thursday was like my sweet spot for ending, because to your point, like Sunday is when everyone else does, and Thursday I kind of get it to myself. Friday I felt like people are focused on the weekend. Thursday's like people are in the groove of the week. I'm just totally making all this shit up. Thursday just kind of always felt right to me.
Yeah, that makes sense. Also, I wouldn't pull your hair out over it either. Just, you're selling a card at auction. If people want the card, they're going to make sure they bid on it, as long as it's
I was gonna say
reasonable time.
The really high end, like rare Michael Jordan shit. Like I remember remember this, like people would end auctions like the middle of the day on Monday, and they would be like insane, like, oh, I'm gonna get this so cheap because it's ending like Monday at 10 a.m. and it like went an all-time high. And it's like, yeah, that's because fucking everyone thought the same thing, and everyone needs that card. Like if it's a card that commands it, like it'll sell.
Yep. All right, Drake's PC. He sent this question in last week. I don't think we got to it, so he's going to ask it again. Do you think that sites that allow offers to be made on fixed price items, such as eBay, such as MySlab, such as PWCC, should they all display the highest or the most current offer, similar to the way that MySlabs currently does display the highest current offer? And why or why not? So that is a feature of MySlabs, is that most recent offer, I think, is what it's called, and it displays right there on the card. So what do you think about this?
Yeah, these questions to me always come down to like, where does it lean towards? Is it better for the buyer or for the seller? And this particular case is always better for the buyer, and I'm not sure if it's better for the seller. I don't necessarily think that it is. I don't know, man. I usually lean towards the buyer because I feel like the buyers keep the market going, but most of the marketplaces like lean towards helping the sellers. I feel like if you made a marketplace that helped the buyers out more, it would be a cooler marketplace. But my slabs being and like calling out my slabs here is cool because that is a cool feature, and I think it really makes things more interesting for the buyer pool. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I just don't know how much weight to give it. I do think it's neat. It's in the spirit of transparency, but it's manipulable. This is something that could be manipulated in bad ways. Put your card at a super high price, have your buddy send you an offer that you're going to reject at a super high price, and then, oh, look, here's the highest offer. So that's the issue that I see there, is that it could be manipulated. So I just don't know how much weight to put into it. eBay used to have this back in the days of, what was that site called? There was the old comp checking site, not Worth Points.
Sportscards.com?
No, before sportscards.com. There was the site where you would check comps. It was like before 130 point. Like you would use this site and you could use it, and like eBay would actually show you all the offers that got made on a card. But if memory serves, you couldn't see them until after the item ended, I think. But you used to be able to see like all the offers that got made.
I remember that site. It was like it was like real archaic looking.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it was. Because
we used to use it for House of Jordan.
Yes, yep, yes, we did. So that was cool. Maybe like being able to see the offers after the fact, so that there's not. I don't know. It's a cool feature, but just like I would just say, be wary, because like it's even easier to manipulate that than it is to like shill an auction or to send in a phony best offer and have somebody push accept on eBay.
Yeah, I want to give a challenge to the marketplaces to stop catering towards getting people to sell more and make things better for buyers, because like the buyers are the ones that keep the market going, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a great point. That's such a great point. There's so much, and it's because of the way that incentives are set up for employees at marketplaces. They earn their income and their bonuses by selling more items. They want to bring as much stuff that gets consigned and then it gets cycled through. We see the same cards auctioned off 5 times in the same year and stuff. All the incentives are geared towards let's pamper the seller. But the entity that puts the buyer at the focus, that's the entity that I think is positioning itself well to succeed long term, especially. Make the buyer the focus of the card buying experience. And some of the things the buyers want to see is just as much transparency as possible. That's where we shout out Wharf Sports Cards. Anytime that like he even has an inkling that we might be doing a headline on a card that he recently sold that didn't get paid, he messages us and he's like, look, like, just want to give you guys a heads up. These couple cards, these are high profile cards, these didn't get paid. Just wanted to let you guys know. It's like he goes out of his way to help a data platform out there, which is Card Ladder, make sure that it has completely accurate, good data on paid items. Like, that's just the way to do it. That's protecting the buyers. That's protecting the community.
Yeah, like 20% buyer's premium. 20%. That's so much money.
The boomer premium?
It's like we don't have a choice anymore. Every auction house is doing it now to compete with each other. It's like, dude, it's like more than twice a damn sales tax on Amazon. Like,
yeah, it's a lot. All right.
Like, yeah, I won this card. Fuck, now I gotta pay so much more than I just bid.
Okay, all right. Mikey the Breaker says consolidation feels like dropping a child off a cliff to save a different child.
Oh my god.
Why is that the metaphor?
Oh
Why
my
is
god.
consolidating drop? I just picture a
Like
cliff,
Sophie's Choice.
like an ocean hundreds of feet below, and him dangling the child over the cliff and just gotta do it. Consolidation.
That's very aggressive.
So how do you do? So Mikey says, how do you do it? How do you consolidate? Because it seems like it's really hard. Let me fire off my answer because I have a short, quick one. Only consolidate if you feel like you want to do it. If that child doesn't deserve to get dropped off the cliff, then keep that kid. Keep that child. All right. So that's what I say. Like, only consolidate if you want to do it. If like you're excited about getting the bigger card, then like you will know and you'll be glad you did it.
Yeah, people like they ask the consolidation question a lot because they know that I do it. But I always give that disclaimer that you just said, which is like this is not for everybody. If you like having more cards, you will not like the way I do it because I just like I almost like willy-nilly just start selling stuff off and everyone's like, "What the heck?" And it's like, no, I really only want to keep like my top, 50 cards or whatever. So that's just the style.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't think there's much more to it than that. All right, in Cardboard Veritas says looking at the card ladder basketball, baseball, and football indexes, uh, they show 6 months of slow, steady appreciation. In
Yeah.
basketball and baseball, they're oh, I'm sorry. Basketball and baseball have had 6 months of slow, steady appreciation. Football has had 4 months of slow and steady appreciation, but it's been flat for the last 2 months. So within those indexes, there have been certain pain and pleasure points, but taken together, is this a sign of the market returning to a degree of normalcy and general good health that could continue for the foreseeable future?
Oh, why don't you answer that, man? You were posting the indexes, like the basketball index is reaching near all-time high, and all the sports are up over the last month, right?
Yeah, no, stuff is definitely trending positive and prices are appreciating on the whole right now. And not by like ridiculous amounts, but like the basketball index is up like 3% over last month. Football index is up a couple percent. Baseball index is up a couple percent over the last month. Nothing crazy, just small incremental. Well, it's not small. 3% of a total market is still a lot, but I don't know, man. I don't know if we can really read too much into that. I don't know if that means that we're returning to a sense of normalcy or not. But here's the let me because this is just a sea of data that I'm trying to swim in right now answering this. Let me just like simplify this. And maybe this is the way to answer it. So like here's what the CL50 has looked like over
Mm-hmm.
the last 6 months.
Go back to our roots.
Back to our roots. So like the CL50 has pretty much the CL50 was 18,000 on July 11th, and it's 18 or I'm sorry, it was let me get an exact number. It was 18,457, and today it's 18,436. Like the CL50 has just really been stagnant. It's just been very flat. And then let's zoom out and look at what it looked like over the last 2 years, right? And so like you had this big, like crazy spike. We all remember when the Jordan Flitter PSA 9s in the CL50 and stuff like that. But like we've had like 6 months of as they say, trading sideways, and it's not so exciting from a market price point of view, but it's good. It shows that there's a lot of people out there buying and enjoying the cards for the card's sake. I think that's one thing you can read into that, is that people are continuing to buy at market prices even when there hasn't been any appreciation in months for many of these cards. So people are just buying the cards because they like the pride of owning them. I think that's one inference you can make. And it is nice to see stability and steadiness, because like there's a lot of other markets that need the volatility to keep them fueled. Otherwise, people get bored of them and move on. But we've had a stagnant, high visibility market for 6 months, and here we are. Prices have been flat. Whereas in many other places, if you have that stagnation, people are going to get finicky or bored and move on. And that's just not the case in our industry. So I take that as a positive indicator, but I just hesitate before I would say that I think, all the sports are going to keep going up 3 to 5% every month like they did this month. Like here's what I was referencing. Basketball is up 3% in the last month. Baseball is up 0.25%. Football is up 1.5%. Hockey's up nearly 5%. Soccer's up 3%. Wrestling's up 4%. Golf is up 13%, and Pokemon is up 2%. So, just kind of like breaking it down by category, every category in Card Ladder appreciated. And, moving like the basketball market moving up 3% is a lot, because there's like 11,000 cards in there. And sort of the methodology of the index is that if a card doesn't sell, then we just assume the price is flat. So for that to go up 3% is a lot. It's quite a bit of movement. So I don't know, man. What do you think? You know, because stepping outside of the data, let's not even think about data. Do you just see a signs pointing towards general, healthy, stable growth in the year of 2022?
I do. I mean, I think the last couple of years, like speaking from like my sort of like financial interest background, I sort of like try to follow lots of markets and see where things move and what's interesting to people. But I think in the last couple of years, people have really gotten like super greedy and insanely spoiled about like, oh, my whatever fund tripled and my NFTs went up 10,000%, my crypto went up 1 billion%, my sports cards went up a ton. And I just don't think any of that's really like realistic long term. Like I think we're gonna see a lot of that type of stuff go down and there's gonna be volatility on crypto like we're seeing and NFTs are going down and Top Shots in the shitter. We should talk about that, by the way. I want to talk about that stupid
We have a
future thing.
question about that. I'll get to that question next.
And to see like the sports card market being flat to me is like exciting because it's like I don't necessarily want to see so much volatility because that just means when there's volatility like that and something's gone up so much, that just means it's going to come back down really fast. And to see something flat in this sort of like 3%, 4% rise, I just kind of feel like that way in general about like a lot of the way society works that like people today just want things so goddamn fast. Like they want to like get to $10 million or they want to like get 100% growth in a year and they've seen it a little bit and now they think that that's the norm. And I think, you know, the real key to success is to like think a little bit more long term than that and have more steady, slow growth. Maybe that's just like the conservative, you know, boring part of me, but I think you can learn a lot from just like trying to find things that are a little bit safer and more, you know, conservative over time.
Absolutely. And
Not only just in financial markets, but in like the way that you function as a human, you know, not trying to burn yourself out in a year and reach these crazy milestones, but like working at something slowly.
that's a great take, and I'll apply it like on this level of sports cards too. The financial and the market aspect of cards is incredibly fun. You know, in markets in general, a cliche sometimes used about them that I think rings true is that markets are a scoreboard. They're a way of measuring the success of something. So that's fun. Markets can be fun. We shouldn't turn away or shun markets. Markets are very exciting. But we will find, I think, more sustainable enjoyment in our paths if we find and do things that we just enjoy for their own sake, not strictly because there's a money component to it too. And I think that's something that you were driving at there as well. Is like, and that's why I take a lot of heart at seeing the CL50 stagnate for 6 months. Is like, okay, so that tells me there's a lot of people out there accepting the market price and who are buying and selling at that market price, and they're just enjoying this hobby for its own sake. And prices are remaining stable. You know, and people are not selling off because like, oh, they're not seeing the gains in the immediate amount of time. There's a nice equilibrium right now between supply and demand, and people are enjoying the hobby. That's what I have to take away from that.
Do you know how lucky we are to be in a hobby where you could spend your money and if you needed to, you could get that money right back and like it never happened. And all the while you got to own that, you got to participate in the hobby you enjoy. You got to own a piece of it for that time. And then again, like I said, if you needed, just start picking off random hobbies like, you know, fucking scrapbooking or cars or, you know, whatever. Like all those hobbies cost money and you're not getting any, like there's no market, you're not getting a return. A hobby, if you really boil it down, a hobby isn't supposed to be like an investment vehicle. It's supposed to be like a leisure activity for you to spend your money on and not get that money back. So like, you know how we're just incredibly lucky to have a hobby where we're actually making money as well.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I've always thought it was too good to be true. That like it's so much fun collecting cards. The entertainment value is enormously high, and we get to get anytime you want. You can get all your investment back in most situations. You know,
We see that all the time. People buy a bunch of cards and then, you know, life hits them and they need to replace their air conditioner or their car broke down. And it's like, yeah, you just undo whatever you did, your work over the last month and get that cash and do what you need to do with it.
definitely. All right. So cardboard insights. says, what if the Top Shot NFTs that have been turned physical are then retokenized? Okay.
That's what I said. That was one of the things I said. My response to all this is, well, 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 look who's come crawling back to the physical world. Stupid. So stupid, man. I was laughing so hard when I saw that. And now that I looked at that, I keep getting ads for the company that's creating those stupid things. Like, hey, do you want to buy a photo album for you and your kids that you can like carry in a plastic fucking whatever case? Oh, the irony is just perfect.
Yeah, it is. So, like, just brief background for those who may not know what we're talking about. A new product associated with Top Shot that is being actively marketed is you can take your Top Shot videos and put them into physical, displayable, digital photo albums, basically.
Show the people.
What's that?
Show on your screen.
I don't have. Let me see if I can. Do you know what? Do you remember? Let's see.
No, it's like invisible. Just search like Top Shot invisible. It's like invisible something. I can't remember the name of it.
Infinite Object.
Infinite Object. There. Just go to that. And I thought, like, when I first saw it. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So your Top Shots are now in giant screw downs.
So when I first saw it, I thought like, oh, some company's just trying to cash in on this, and they're just like taking your Top Shots and making them physical. It's just some lame company. No, the NBA is actually behind it. It's like licensed by the NBA.
So basically, the only thing differentiating this from physical sports cards at this point is the fact that these are videos and they're gigantic.
No, they're just like okay. This is what makes me laugh about this whole NFT world is that these people that want to talk about the financial aspect of it keep touting the technology of it. Like, oh, the technology is going to change the world. Dude, it's a fucking digital photo album. We've had that for 15 years. Like, it's not technology. It's not better. It's literally worse. It's like going backwards. So please don't talk to me about blockchains and like technology because blockchain is literally a database.
Yep. And I never want to hear again about how NFTs reduce the friction, blah, 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 blah. No, they don't, because the end game of the NFT is a physical collectible. So we have to be badgered and abused about how we're dinosaurs and all this other stuff about why cards, are archaic and so brutal. The brutal experience of cards. And this is the end game of Top Shot, is right on back to the physical item. Because like we've been saying all along, in an increasingly digital world, the physical becomes more desirable. It becomes better. It becomes more rare. The physical is more rare. The tangible is more rare and more, and it's more special in an increasingly digital world. So it's always been a fallacy to think that because some parts of life are moving towards more digital, that all parts of life will move towards all digital. It doesn't work that way. In fact, I think it works the opposite way. And here we have a data point to support it. So welcome home, Top Shot people. And you know what? Congratulations to all the card collectors who just stayed the course, who resisted the arguments that were being thrown at them about the future is digital and isn't this so much better? You can just go on your computer and look at it. Really, it's not, because this is what ends up happening. Now the product has become physical, and they're now playing catch up with what we've known the whole time.
The joke that I made that you referenced was like, what happens if the person who owns the digital Top Shot and then they buy the physical one and then they sell the digital one, but they still own the physical? Do they have to send the physical one to the person that they bought? And I was like, no. What they should do is NFT the physical one, so that now we have proof of ownership and proof of stake and all that bullshit on that screw down thing. Then we'll solve that problem. So we'll have a digital video, and then we'll have the physical copy of that, and then we'll have a digital version of the physical of the digital, and then it'll be solved.
Yeah, you lost me there very early on. But it
Dude, keep
sounded
up.
good.
Actually, I had one more thing to say on this topic.
All right.
Uh, you realize that like maybe it's not as super obvious because it's like slowly happened to us, but we have become way more digital as humans, like you and I even.
Hmm.
Like we've succumbed to Instagram and TikTok and Flickr and having our cards on the internet and selling and stuff. So like that is kind of considered Web 2.0, the world we're in right now, where we're still like physically attached to it. And like Web 3.0 to me is more like the technology leap that we make to where it's more immersive. We're more like immersed in the internet, and it's like our experiences are more tied to it to make it feel more real being in the internet. But that has nothing to do with like buying a fucking digital yacht in some weird 3D space. The technology leap that we can make to make the internet more immersive and more rich of like you and me communicating and being in the same room and feeling like that, that is a leaps and bounds different experience than buying a fucking pixelated whatever the hell. Because you're prospecting on the currency of what Web 3.0 is going to be by buying NFTs. You have no idea what the actual landscape is going to look like once we make the actual real technology leap. Rant over.
God, that's beyond my knowledge base, but I'll definitely take your word for it. It sounded pretty good to me.
You're in the world of like Instagram. You're on it right now. Like I bet you, 10 years ago, you and I would have been like, "Oh, this is silly. Like, why are we have phones. It's fine. We don't need like Instagram." But we've slowly progressed into this world of like now we sort of depend on it. It's a part of our daily lives. We're going to get to that point with more immersive web technologies, like being able to be somewhere else, be on the other side of the planet even though you're in your house. Like these technologies will come, through like more advanced contact lenses or whatever the technology looks like. But until you actually see the technology advance, you just like don't try to guess what it is or don't try to guess what the currency is going to be or the Ethereum. Like you don't know. Like it has to be the technology first.
That makes a lot of sense. And at least as applied to collectibles, I have a slightly different rant. NFT technology, it's a fancy word that is in the space of collectibles only describing a ledger system. It's just a method of accounting. That's all it is. It's all it is. It's just literally a way of recording transactions in a secure fashion. But as we find out, it's not that secure. It's hackable. People get hacked. People can lose things in an instant, and there's very little protection. Kind of like people who've been losing their Instagram accounts in the hobby recently. You know, and I don't mean to make light of it. Like California Card Collector just got his account back. I'm very glad he did. But look, that's your NFTs can be gone like that. And there's so much celebration about how NFTs are decentralized. It's outside of the mainstream. It can subvert and evade the justice system. Well, that's a double-edged sword because what happens when someone steals all your NFTs? So all I'm saying is there's actually nothing that impressive about NFTs anyway. The concept behind the technology is millennia old. It's just accounting. It's just ledger systems. That's all it is.
Would you be impressed with this technology where you literally felt like you were somewhere else?
Oh yeah, it'd be very impressive.
So again, like my point is like until you see something like that, that's like a tangible technology leap versus like, dude, they're making fucking screw down holders of your YouTube clips. Like, what? No one's impressed by that. Like, you're trying to convince me of the value of it so that you can make money. There's not an actual technological advance. There's a huge difference. And you'll know, you, Chris, will know when that leap has been made. And we're not there yet.
No doubt. Yeah, no doubt. Great. Oh man, I don't know if I should roll out this take. I guess we're at the end of hour 2, so what can it hurt? I told I told I told you this on Instagram earlier this week, or I mean on Facebook earlier this week. I said it's not a sure thing. Okay, because things can go a lot of different ways and history is not written yet. But 5 years from now, there is a world in which we look back on NFTs and cryptocurrencies. I said it. Yeah, I said it. where we look back on those as the biggest scam in the history of the world, measured by dollars. So there, I fired off that take. I feel better now. There's certainly a world where that exists, because what is the real value proposition outside of pure speculation about future outcomes? None. In this, I don't even know if we need to get into all this right now, but this concept that somehow cryptocurrencies are evasive of the justice system or this and that, go ahead and try and go through a divorce proceeding, hide your crypto assets, and then how are you going to combat a judge or a court order that says you have to split your assets 50-50 with your wife? The judge isn't going to say, oh, well, it's in Bitcoin, so I guess the court can't get to it now. No, you're going to have to divest yourself of half of it and give it over to your spouse or your ex-spouse. So anyway, that rant is over.
And also, the stock market has been, I don't want to say crashing, I don't want to cause panic, but like the stock market's gone down quite a bit this week.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what else has gone down at the same rate this week, and even more so? Cryptocurrency, which I thought was supposed to be a hedge against traditional corporate America, government, decentralized. It's following the same trends as anything else, because guess what? It's just another investment vehicle.
Yeah, dude, we're just going so hard right now. And there's a lot of people in the hobby who like are into crypto and NFTs and stuff. So like, let me just say this. I admit I may be wrong on this as well. It's a possibility, because I want to shout out David, who says, I think you will look back in 5 years and say, how did I not have Ethereum in 2021? Admit it's possible. Definitely. Could be the case. But what can I do? This is my opinion on it, you know? And it's definitely colored by the hobbies that I like and the stuff that I like to do. So it is what it
David's
is.
just like wringing his shirt right now, just like raging on us, biting everything, biting his shirt.
I know. It was very restrained. David's a great advocate, because, you know, he can be reasonable with us and we can be reasonable with them.
He's the only one that like could potentially even get close to convincing me to do it, because I have a lot of respect for him. So it's like there must be something to it if he's into it, is my point.
Yeah. No doubt. All right. Man, that's such a fun, hot topic that I just don't even want to. How do I move on from that? But okay.
It's just like an easy. It's so easy to. It's a very natural, easy conversation for us to have.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Who can't bond over things they hate together, you know?
Dude, we hate things together, and it's one of the best things.
The foundation of your friendship is hatred for other things.
Right.
That's like a thing, right? You know, like anytime a big group of people just start saying, you know, everything's so amazing, like there's always that group of people who are like, I hate it. And you're like, why? I don't know, just because they like it. It's like pop music. Pop music, the worst. Why? Because that guy likes it.
No doubt. No doubt. All right. All right.
Back when Britney Spears was popular, there's so many people who were like,
Yep. Dude, I mean, you know, just bring it more closer to home. It happens in sports, does it not? You know, it was a Michael Jordan thing big time, you know, and now LeBron gets it and Brady gets it. It's always, you know, it just is what it is.
People are like, Patriots? Ugh, I hate the Patriots. Why? Because they're good.
Yeah, because they won a lot.
I think.
All right. Football picks.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, okay. I actually didn't, because I was scrambling because I thought our show started an hour later. I don't know why. So I didn't actually get all the questions in, but I know that a question did come in that related to our football predictions. So what do you have as we enter the last week of the NFL? Do you have any predictions you want to make?
I think we made our Super Bowl picks already, but I'll give them again. I picked the Packers and the Bills, and I picked the Bills to win the Super Bowl. And MVP, I'll take Cooper Kupp.
Ah, damn. I want Cooper Kupp too for MVP. No,
I'll take Rodgers then. Like, I think Rodgers is actually going to win it, but you know.
He is. Dude, the odds on Rodgers are minus 500, and then the
There you
next
go.
best is Brady at plus 600. So like, it's over. The MVP thing is over. Super Bowl. How about I go with Tampa Bay? And I know I'm changing my pick from last week. I'm gonna go with Tampa Bay, and I'm gonna go with Joe Burrow and the Bengals. That's
Oh, I think you took the Chiefs and the somethings or
I
others.
think I
You
took
took
the
the
Chiefs
Chiefs and the
and the
Packers.
I did. Yeah, I did.
You fucking change on 1 week. You're a Monday morning quarterback, right? Look at you.
Dude, me making predictions is terrible because I get very finicky and I want to make the safe choice and I get bored with that choice and I want to make a risky choice. It just doesn't.
Dude,
Me
the
and football
Bengals.
predictions don't mix.
Give me a Bengals. Like, why the Bengals? What? Like that game was amazing, right? What about the
Because
Bengals?
Joe Burrow has thrown for over 900 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions in the past 2 weeks.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
Yeah. And
He's
because
a bad man.
they figured out a way to hold the Chiefs to 3 points and a half, like, that's very, and it was the more important half to do it in, which was the second half.
How do you pretend to smoke a cigar? I know nothing about smoking. What is it like this? How do you smoke a
Cigar?
cigar?
I don't know. There's like that. No, I think there's like that old like.
Yeah, it's like this, like this. You got Burrow basically celebrating already with a cigar after winning 1 division title. Doesn't that turn you off?
It did. I didn't like that at all. I didn't like that at all. I like my young Generation Z superstars to be extra humble, extra aw shucks. You know, well, no, more like Zion and Luca. Those guys are so vanilla that I came to really like that.
Nick just said, I got a thumbnail for the next crossover. Cigar smoking. Hey, you want to know a fun fact about me?
Sure.
I've never smoked anything of any variety of any kind in my entire life.
Wow, not even like a puff off the hookah? Nothing?
Nothing. No cigarette, no weed, nothing.
That's a streak that's worth not breaking.
I just have no, and I asked a couple of friends about it, and they're like, "Oh, if that's the case, just don't do it. Like you'll not be thrilled with it."
Yeah, no, that's a streak not worth breaking. I would take that one to the grave. Never
Why not?
smoked anything ever.
Vape, nothing. Not a vape, no interest.
Oh boy, okay. So George chimes in, vanilla like your Long John. All right, so do you know what a vanilla Long John is? Hey, do you know what that is?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Wow. So this is such a regional thing. So it's a donut. So
Oh, I know what Long Johns are.
okay, so vanilla Long John is like the most traditional donut that you could ever deal with.
Yes. I mean, no, but yeah, sure.
No, it
It's a
is.
type of donut.
Midwest.
No.
And so look, so all right. So this is
Will you smoke in the metaverse?
look, that's just a row of vanilla Long Johns, right? And I was trying to tell some people about vanilla Long Johns, and they were like, "What is? I didn't even know vanilla Long Johns was a thing." And so I convinced my friend George, who lives in Southern California, to go order some vanilla Long Johns at the local bakery, and he was very unimpressed, which was sad. But the vanilla Long John, man, I don't know. Are you a fan of the vanilla Long John?
I thought that was some fancy term for like some sort of weed or like vape thing. I would have, if you would have went with that, I would have been like, oh yeah, of course, vanilla Long John. I don't get no.
What's the flavor of hookah?
I'm a big donut guy, but I am super boring with donuts. I just prefer the circular kind with the chocolate frosting and the sprinkles.
Chocolate frosting and sprinkles. Okay.
When you guys were here, I should have gotten you guys Bosa donuts. We have a local donut place that's very, very good.
Okay. Well, next time. Christina has a photographic memory for things like this, so next time, indeed. What was that muffin place you used to always get us muffins at in Los Angeles, in Beverly Hills?
Sprinkles.
Sprinkles.
Sprinkles, I've heard of that.
Sprinkles.
Cupcakes. They're cupcakes, first of all. But I would bring them to Josh, too.
If we keep talking about this, I'm going to have to make a late night run to the local Schnucks and get some stale donuts.
They're closed, but
Schnucks.
it's a Ralph.
It's Ralph's.
Oh, never mind. It needs to be like a donut specific place.
Yeah, I mean, Caramel glazed is underrated too. Yeah. Shout out to
I
caramel glazed.
like sugar coated, without frosting, just like plain old sugar coated donuts too.
Yeah. All right. Let me see if we had any silly questions come in here.
We're in the donut phase of this chat.
We're
We're talking about vaping and cigars and donuts. Like, let's get weird.
I think we're there.
Not ladder. I love how our really smart audience always like takes our jokes and just puts it in front of the word ladder.
Yeah. Yep. That's the low hanging fruit. All right. Damn, the chat is the donut section is resonating with the chat.
Like our participants in the live is like, about half our peak, but now this is peak comment time of where we get the most comments.
The KPP Cards wants to know what inning are donuts.
Dude, donuts are the new thing, bro. Like, donuts have been figured out. Someone earlier said Ryan from The Office is behind Top Shot printouts. Did you hear that?
Yeah, that was good.
That's good.
That was good. The fourth inning. Donuts are in the fourth inning. Damn.
Wait, how did we get on donuts? This vanilla thing? What the fuck is that? How did you do that?
I don't know why. I said Zion and Luke are vanilla, and I like vanilla. And then George said, kind of like how you like vanilla long johns.
Well, I was like, I've never smoked, and you're like, how about donuts? Like, I don't. I missed the leap. You're like, I've never eaten a donut? I don't. Like, what weird thing have you never done? I've never eaten a donut. Like, what?
Yeah. This is the witching hour where we go from vaping to donuts.
Wins become losses and losses become. Dude, who doesn't watch Red Zone at this point? Like, you just must be some sort of crazy person. I only can watch Red Zone. I can barely stomach going and watching just the Cardinals game, even though like I know I should be. But I'm
Right.
like, I'll just watch Red Zone.
Yep. No, I know. Yeah. Red Zone is the best like aggregator. It's too perfect. How did they do football for all those years without it?
I thought every time I watch that, and my wife is like, "When are you gonna take a break?" I'm like, "They take no breaks. There is no fucking break. I'm gonna sit here for 7 hours and watch this shit all the way through. This fucking guy doesn't even pee, and you're making me leave? No."
No. There's
And
no
I'm always
commercials.
like, "How do people watch this before? I don't. How do you watch football? Try to watch a game on CBS. I dare you. You'll want to fucking die."
Yeah, and Red Zone's the only way to watch a lot of these games because like they're out of market and stuff, and like they're really unless you have like the DirecTV internet direct subscription, which like for some reason we can't get at this house. There's the only way to even get those games. You just like all those games line up on a Sunday. You got the early window games, and then like I start getting a little bit sad when you start getting into the late window because like there's not going to be as much action. And then when you're down to like the last one or two games left, and it's just like you're just hopping back and forth. But you're so grateful for Scott Hansen because he's not forcing you to look at commercials, and like he just will go back and forth between the games. And like if the games aren't doing something at the moment, he's going to show you highlights and just keep you entertained. It's just commercial-free greatness, which I love. I hate commercials. So commercial-free greatness is really comes at a premium.
That show is like, it's like America for me, like wrapped up in a 7 hour. It's just America. It's like football. We don't fucking want ads. We want one dude to just walk us through it and keep us entertained. We want nonstop action. We want it now, and we want to sit on our butts and do nothing. It's just like America. I love it.
Wow,
That's
good.
If I had to explain our country, I would sit them in front of Red Zone for 7 hours and order them a big old box of donuts and be like, "This is America."
Long Johns, vanilla Long Johns,
And a pizza. I'll give them donuts to start, and then I'll give them pizza halfway through for the second slate of games. That's America.
with Trulies.
With, these things are so delicious. They're so good. don't you want to just settle down with a nice cold Truly, Chris? Just if you could just take a minute here and let me just give a little time to my sponsorship, Truly.
Looks very very quenching. Very quenching.
It is. I always drink them all, and I'm no longer thirsty.
You just never know where the third hour is gonna go.
Well, these things also make me say funny stuff. That's the cool thing. There's like this potion in these that
you have to you truly you can only fight this for so long. You can only hold out for so long before what's inevitable comes crashing down on you. And that is, you will be sponsors of this show.
dude, I don't know what else I have to do.
Dude, it's the perfect sponsor. We don't do sponsors. We're not sponsored by card shows or shops or auction houses or anything. But we could be sponsored by an adult beverage. I think that is the neutral sponsor that this hobby content landscape needs. So
How do we make this happen? How do we get an entire community of people to rally behind us to get these fuckers to listen to us?
I mean, it did happen already. Like, I remember a while ago, like 6 months ago maybe, there was just like a ton of people were tagging them and like making stories and stuff. Didn't that happen?
Yeah, like you have to lead it though. You have to tell everyone in the chat right now to tag @Truly. So you have to do it, and then everyone follows you to do it. So you do it. There you go. You can do it. I see you typing.
Just
I'll do it.
hold on.
Yeah, and Josh does it, and then everyone who's listening in the chat right now, help me make Josh's dream come true.
It's not even a dream. It's just it's a moral imperative.
It's a moral. Oh my god, I would be so like, I wouldn't even care about the sponsorship, like at at the root of what it is, the sponsorship. Just the fact that I got it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're not asking for millions here. Just a case of Truly, to keep the
Every week.
to keep the palate cleansed.
All right, I'm putting it on the whiteboard.
Oh, when it goes on the whiteboard.
Christina always tells me, she's always talking about this. Whenever I need a sponsorship or some sort of networking relationship, with Card Ladder, I go to Christina and she makes it happen. Well, I'm calling in the big dogs here.
All right.
He's like, oh, you need X? Oh, you need Y? I'll get it done. Well, this is it.
Okay, I'm on it.
Because this might just take a well-timed call to a corporate number.
You know what? Let me. I have some contacts in the alcohol marketing world.
You do, actually.
I do.
Oh, look at that. Nepotism is going to get the job done.
So I'm gonna make some calls and see what we can do.
People ask me, they're like, I get DMs. I get like 7 DMs about this. I got like 7 DMs. People are like, how come you don't like White Claws? Because I really like the fruit punch, like the Truly, it's like the fruit one. So I just like these ones.
There you go. Now we're like, I saw a commercial for Wendy's today that said 2-in-1 prefer their fries to McDonald's fries. And so now we're doing the comparative marketing as well. You're
That's
not
like
on board with that?
Is it like the 4 out of 5 dentist bullshit? Dude, there's no way I would ever choose Wendy's fries over McDonald's.
1 out of 1 Josh Johnson's prefers Truly to White Claw. So that's the type of studies that we're doing over here.
Let's take a little poll on this chat. McDonald's fries or Wendy's? Come on, let's prove those fuckers wrong. It's got to be McDonald's, right?
I mean, McDonald's fries are hard to vote against.
The last couple times I had them, they were not that good.
All right, let's see here.
Hey, look, we got 4 McDonald's and 0 Wendy's. 5.
We got a McDonald's.
6,
Easy.
7.
Easy. Okay.
8. All right,
That's
we're
a
gonna need 16
landslide.
Wendy's. 8. We're not. We're gonna need 18 fucking Wendy's before we make this true.
It's a
Oh, we got a
landslide.
Wendy's.
Wendy's, you can dip the fries in the frosty.
Can you do that? Can you ask McDonald's for fresh ones? Because I wish you could do that.
I guess so. I don't know. I get very careful about how I interact with the people preparing my food at a minimum wage style job.
Are you saying you don't eat at fast food at all?
Oh, I eat too much fast food, but I just, I want to be very nice. I want to be pushy, give me my damn fresh fries.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You know,
Otherwise, you're gonna get fresh fries with a little bit of.
the fries be a little too fresh.
You're so gross.
Oh, there's the tip. Just ask for no salt.
Ooh, no, I need salt on those bad boys.
Well, I guess you could salt them yourself, Oh,
Domino's cheesy bread. All right, what's your favorite fast food pizza? Have we talked about this?
fast food pizza? Pizza Hut.
Ooh,
I know. That's not high on your list, but it's probably nostalgia because when I was in grade school, we had to do accelerated reader, AR reader, and then when you got a certain amount of points, you earned a personal pan pizza from Pizza Hut, and so I always liked those, and so I still do.
do you still get Pizza Hut?
It's been years since I had Pizza Hut, to be honest.
What the fuck?
I don't order that much fast food pizza. I'll always go for the local or the mom and pop. I'll always.
You guys had Domino's that one night.
Where were we when we had that? Oh yeah, because that was the only place that was open.
Yeah, everything was closed.
That's why. Because that was the only place that was open.
I haven't had Pizza Hut in years either.
What's your vote?
Papa John's.
Yeah, Papa John's is great. They were real innovators with the garlic dip coming with the pizza. I
don't even do that. I just like it. If I'm like in a real rush for pizza, I'll just get Papa John's. I like them. Ooh, Little Caesars. They're pretty good actually.
Little Caesars is the only answer for collectors because it tastes like cardboard.
I've never had
There was a Domino's by my apartment when I was in college, and so I'm just like I'm over Domino's. I had it so much.
Yep, it'll definitely burn you out. That any pizza, you can't have too much exposure to it. Long John's, no such thing as overexposure.
Long John Silver's?
No, vanilla Long John's, the donut.
Not
Oh.
true. I once ordered I once brought them home, and they had one, and they sat on the counter for all week.
This is called being donut shamed, and it did happen. I'm sorry, you can only.
And then I stopped buying them for a while because I was like, okay, he doesn't like these anymore.
No, I do. How dare you?
How dare you?
Donuts are the one thing though that like if I have 3 donuts, I just feel like a fucking piece of shit.
Dude, 3 is impressive. If I go beyond 1 Long John,
You know what I mean though? Like that's the one food where if you eat too much of it, you're just like, God, I'm the terrible person.
and you're gonna have a bad crash in a few hours.
Yeah, it's literally just like the most compact pound for pound like shit bad food,
Totally. It's pure garbage. It's pure garbage.
It's like fried sugar. It's like the 2 worst things possible, all packed in one little amazing little circle.
And somebody got the idea to pack that full of jelly or some other
Oh
shit.
no, that's not even a donut. That's not a donut. It's like fucking like cake. That's not a donut.
No. Oh, yeah, good. All right. I mean, I can't do it either, but
Like, can you imagine like taking a bite into a donut and then being surprised by a goo in the no?
Oh,
Christina just had a visceral reaction to that.
Oh yeah, it's not even a donut. It's not a donut. 3 donuts and a Red Bull. You're just like you're asking for trouble. Someone in the chat said 3 donuts and a Red Bull. What? You just take the rest of the day off. You're toast.
Yeah, you're not even going to be able to handle a Red Zone Sunday on 3 donuts and a Red Bull.
Some of the chat said Alfredo's Pizza or Pizza by Alfredo.
I don't get the reference on that one.
It's The Office. Remember, they're like, Michael's like, I ordered pizza for the office. He's like, I got Alfredo's. And they're like,
yeah,
okay,
yeah, yeah.
did
There's
you
like
get
two different ones. Yeah, yeah.
Alfredo's pizza? And then he like reads it and they're like, no, that's not the right one.
That's good. I don't know how you remember all these references. I'm terrible.
Well, because I've seen each episode of Office like 6 times. Like eventually you just memorize it.
Yeah, I think we're almost due for a rerun ourselves.
Nope, you have to watch Silicon Valley first.
Oh, right,
sir.
after Silicon Valley. We're actually watching a different show right now. That inadvertently, because Christina just had tried it out, and then I watched an episode, and I was like, "This is pretty good." It's Gotham, the
Batman show.
The Batman show. Yeah, it's
So
new.
Origin story.
Yeah, it's like newer. It's like 5 seasons. It's that's what we're on right now. It was totally unintentional, like Christina just had it on an early episode, and I was like, oh, because I hate 99% of shows.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, this is pretty good.
I'm a Batman fan, and my friend told me to try it out.
Yeah, I like it. If I'm watching it, that's a very high bar. If I like it and I watch it.
You'll like Silicon Valley, though, I promise.
Oh, I know.
It's just so perfect for us right now.
Oh, God.
Okay. Yep. We had this was an interesting question that came in that I did want to touch on. It came from Preston's Cards. He said Matt Stafford's index is declining, even though the Rams are on a 5-game winning streak. So what's going on here? And I think just that Matt Stafford started off the season so hot, and like he was leading in a lot of statistical categories, and now he's cooled off a bit, and like people are giving credit to Cooper Kupp for being a pretty big part of the offensive engine over there. And the Rams just, dude, in football, man, in all sports, but especially football and basketball, that title means a lot. And like I think people were much more bullish on the Rams as title contenders earlier this year, and people were foreseeing Matt Stafford getting a ring. And now they're not so sure. So if the Rams start looking like real contenders again, then I would say Matt Stafford's market. But also Matt Stafford's market increased like tenfold this year. So like that also might just be the thing too. What do you think about Matt Stafford?
Yeah, he's kind of come back down to earth of like where he belongs, in my opinion, on the ranking system. Like he was number 1 in QBR for a while.
Yep.
And I think people are realizing like, okay, the rest of the team is freaking stacked, and it's not necessarily because of him, and he's just sort of guiding the ship at this point. That's my opinion on it. He's good, like he's better than Goff, obviously, but I don't, he's not like a top 5 quarterback or anything like that.
Fair. All right, so KPB card says if Matt Stafford was a donut, what type of donut would he be?
Like a vanilla, like he's pretty plain, like a vanilla, like a Long John or something.
Vanilla Long John. Matt Stafford is the vanilla Long John of quarterbacks. Stafford would be the jelly-filled donut.
Oh, you don't want that. That's like Derek Carr or something. That's like what? It's like something that's like forced onto you because some influencer keeps talking about it, but then you take a bite and you're like, what?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Derek Carr is a jelly-filled donut. That dude is so boring.
Also, does he wear, and I'm not passing a judgment,
No.
but does he wear any sort of makeup or eyeliner?
No.
I also think he dyes his hair.
Or does he dye his hair?
His hair is like...
I'm telling you that even waterproof mascara and eyeliner is not, like, could not last the entire game the way that, like, it's just not possible.
So he changes at half. Or he goes into the medical tent.
I know what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about. I think that's natural.
It could be. The guy just could be blessed
His
with
hair,
natural features that other people have to put on makeup to obtain.
His hair is so black.
It's very black. Yeah, it's very
that it's like, what the fuck?
It's very, very black. Well, Tom Brady found a way to grow more hair as he got older, so.
No, that's fake.
Are you sure? I thought maybe just those hairs just don't give up like Tom.
He looks different than his rookie year.
He does. He does look different. He looks more handsome and younger at age 44 than he did at age 23.
Someone posted a stat that he has like more like volume stats, like passing yards and touchdowns in his 40s than he did in his 20s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude, he threw for 5,000 yards already this year.
It's like he's like easily top 3 quarterback at 44. Easily. I don't understand.
Oh. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. I thought you meant like top 3 at the age of 44, and I was like, he's one of one. But no, you're saying like, he's a top 3 quarterback in the league, and he's 44.
It's like LeBron being top 5 MVP at whatever age he. Did the Lakers win?
Lakers won by like 15.
Oof, the Hawks.
The Hawks are dangerously flirting with like not even making the play-in right now.
Is it just me, or do the Lakers play a non-playoff team like every game?
They have had a pretty soft schedule so far, and there's like they're always at home. Like tonight, they were at home. They're just always at the Staples. I'm sorry, the Crypto Center.
Oh Jesus! Don't fuck me. Oh, Bama or Georgia? That's good. Let's pick that game. I think we maybe did.
No clue because I haven't watched a single game played by either of those teams. So obviously Alabama.
Yeah, that's like the super, like easy answer. Georgia is really, really good. I'm telling you, their defense is fucking loaded. Like every player on their defense is going to be in the NFL. Basically, they're so good. So watch out for Georgia.
What about? Okay, I hear you on the defense, but what about Stetson Bennett?
He's good, man. He's fucking good. People are like shitting on that guy for no reason. He's really good, and their running game is solid. They're loaded at receiver. Like, so like every time Bama plays like Notre Dame or like freaking, like Michigan or like one of these schools where people really want them to like, oh, they're finally arrived, and they always crush them and they blow them out. That is not Georgia. Georgia is loaded with NFL talent. They're basically like a different Alabama. Whatever. You know what? Let's bet on it. You want to do that? You take Bama and I'll take Georgia. Let's bet on it, fool.
Maybe we could put like a Top Shot NFT physical on the line. No, I don't know anything about college football. The name Stetson is going to be a hurdle for me to overcome.
I mean, honestly, like if you know nothing about college football and you just keep picking Alabama, you're probably like it's like betting on the S&P 500. You're just like going to beat everybody else.
Yeah, it's hard to go against Alabama.
But this is the year. I feel in my gut that Georgia is really, really good. I know they lost to Alabama in that SEC championship, but I think Georgia's really good.
Oh, that'd be cool, man. I wouldn't be mad to see Georgia win. Vegas State.
Put up the Jordan PMG. In the chat, he says, put up the Jordan PMG. Yeah, I'll bet my finest gold versus your red PMG.
No.
Sure, why not?
No.
Christina's like, no, don't.
We know what we're doing here in the witching hour.
The witchy. The wins become losses and losses become wins.
It's so true, though. They really do. It does happen. It does happen. Those games turn around. Those games totally turn around and they get
The NFL though, like the NFL is just like it's such a great league because of like the parity, right? And like the games are so close oftentimes that it comes down to a couple plays at the end.
Yeah, like the the Jets and the Bucks coming down to a last-minute drive. What the hell happened there?
The Jets are up 14 with like barely any time left, and the Bucks just like 10 or down 10. The Bucks just like, 30-second drive, no problem, touchdown, game over. Now
the Jets play the Bills. The Jets play the Bills tomorrow, Saturday, a Saturday afternoon game. Dude, the Jets have been playing people pretty tough. They really have. They've been playing people pretty tough.
Bills are going to clobber them.
I mean, the Bills have a strong incentive to win because if they win, then they clinch their division, right? I think that's right.
Right. The Bills are going to throttle them.
All right.
I'm sticking with my Super Bowl pick. Sticking with them. The Bills. That's my pick. I wish I could pick the Cardinals. I don't trust them.
Okay. Good. I like that pick, man. You know, Josh Allen's market is down 6% this month. His total market index. Yeah, I know. So, like, dude, everybody's looking at Burrow and Herbert and all the new young guys, and Josh Allen's just chilling there, you know. And
People are so weird. Like, everyone wants to buy Josh Allen cards when it's the cool thing to do, but now when, like, he's on the cusp of making a playoff run, now he's down. I don't understand collectors and investors. I don't get it. Like, he was, like, the hottest thing ever in the preseason, and I don't understand that because, like, he's not doing anything, but now that he's playing great, now they're down, whatever.
here, look at what's happened to his index, man. This is crazy. The visual is look at that. That's Josh Allen's index.
It's like the reverse of what I would think. It's like, whatever. It should be going up now, and it should have been going down in the preseason.
Yeah. Yeah, the Bills look tough, dude. I'm not taking away anything from the Bills.
He's good, man. I told you, if I made a top 5 fantasy draft or, you know, dynasty draft, it's like Mahomes is obviously number 1. I'd take Josh Allen number 2.
Yeah. Yeah, that's hard to argue against.
Then it's like Herbert, Murray, and Burrow, basically.
I agree, dude. That's very tough to argue against. He's really good. I'm just looking at what cards went down, and
Someone asked me that, where it's like when you look at like the 1 month timeline of an index, it's like what cards caused it to do this. That would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, you can figure it out, or at least you like we should try to make that information more accessible and like maybe package it better. But like, if you're on here's all you do. If you're on the index, just click cards, and then come over here, and you have all these different sorts that you can use, and just choose monthly percentage change, and then, you know, reverse sort it, and then there you go. This card's down 20% in the last month. That's his biggest loser, and there she blows. So this card, and then, you know.
Yeah, go to Hero. People in the chat are asking about Tyler Hero. Search his base Prism.
All right, hang on. I need 2 hands to type here.
Well, put one of your hands on the screen so we can see how big your screen is.
So Tyler Hero's down 12% on the month.
Ooh.
So here's the Tyler.
Wow, that's an index right there.
But he made a comeback, right? Because like going into the season in October, he was at 800, and then he doubled during the season. In early December, he got up to 1,400, and now he's down to 1,200. And so, what do we want to look at here? So here,
that one.
Well, this is his variation. This is not his main. This is only a Pop 414. This is the Prism variation, and then the base Prism looks like this, and this one is
that way.
Pop 7,500. Wow. For there to be that many and for that card to be worth $50,
that's incredible. It speaks to the hobby. Like, who the fuck? Yeah, 7,500. It's like, that's basically milk.
That's definitely milk. Milk in the batter.
Was it this way or this way?
I think right side flare. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it. And then did you see he got into an altercation with Yusuf Nurkic? Did you see this?
I did not.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Nothing.
Okay, because I'm working, you know.
I know you are.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, he got into a brawl or not a brawl, but an altercation with Yusuf Nurkic, who's a big Bosnian guy.
I was going to say, that doesn't sound good for him.
Okay, so what about the Bucks? The Bucks and the Nets.
Dude, they fucking crushed the Nets, and the Bucks were missing Holiday and like half their team. And Giannis was like in foul trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. The Nets, let's take a look at the standings here. I've watched a few Nets games. I watched them beat the Mavericks by like 3. The Mavericks were in control for most of that game, and then just kind of the Bucks, the Nets turned it on late, which they do have the ability to do. If they're 24-13, second best record in the East, I mean, that's cool. So I don't know.
Harden's really taken a step down, in my opinion, this year.
I think so too, man.
He just doesn't look that good. Like, he just kind of looks like a, I don't want to say average, but like relative to what we expect from him, he just doesn't look great.
Yeah, and it is an eye test thing. So, like, statistically, he's putting up 23 points, 10 assists, and 8 rebounds a game. He's damn near averaging a triple-double.
But he also, like, is really high usage rate. He has the ball. He, like, brings the ball up the court every play. He's, like, involved in every single play.
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, so here's a couple of things.
What's his PER? Where's his PER rank?
He's 24th in PER.
Yeah, I mean, he's having an okay year.
He's usually quite a bit higher than that. But so, like, here's this tells part of the story. He's playing 37 minutes a game. So, like, most guys play 32 or 33. So that's a lot. 37 minutes a game is a lot. So those numbers are inflated. His field goal percentage is 42, which is not good. And his
Sounds like Steph Curry.
Yeah, and his 3-point percentage is 33. So he's just, and compared to his career. So his career field goal percentage is 44, and his career 3-point percentage is 36. So he's off, and he's off an amount that's like costing him a couple points a game. And, that has an effect. Like him missing that many shots is worth a couple points a game.
How many points did LeBron have?
Hold on.
I'm just point watching now. I'm like waiting for that Kareem record now that the team's stuck.
Stand by. 32 points, 9 assists, and 8 rebounds.
God, dude, he's so good.
Yeah, it's very good. And they beat the Hawks by 16.
Yeah, well, that's not saying much. They might as well just like beat a JV team.
Oh boy.
Dude, isn't it crazy though that like the Hawks were in the Eastern Conference Finals and now they might not make the playoffs?
Yes, it is crazy. And I just try to figure out, is that because, like, Trae Young said something about they were having a hard time getting motivated at the beginning of the year, but like,
what?
That's what he said.
Oh my God, what is the fuck, dude? That's the what? You have a hard time being motivated? Like, I don't understand. You're literally paid millions of dollars to go win basketball games.
Yeah, I don't know.
He said that for real?
He did say that.
Dude, that's incredible.
Yeah,
Yikes. Sell all your Trae Young cards. He's having a hard time being motivated? Dude.
That's what they said. They said they went so far in the playoffs last year, and it's just hard to get up for the regular season games.
Yeah, but like the team who gets so close but doesn't make it over the hump, in my opinion, is always the most motivated going into next year. Like the Suns, for example, lost the finals, and they're coming out guns blazing this year. They're highly motivated. I'm not buying that.
Well, you also have to think, though, the Suns have Chris Paul to motivate them that they can do it again.
Yeah.
Whereas the Hawks are a very young team, and like if Trae Young is your leader, like you're already not motivated.
Yeah. The Hawks started last year almost the exact same way, and their coach got fired because of it.
True.
So, but how do you fire the guy who just was coaching them in Eastern Conference Finals? I don't know.
Be right back.
So, all right, chat. What do you got for me? We do not have. I'm on Scott Hansen level over here. Just no breaks. Ben Simmons might be a Hawk. Wow, we had good viewership tonight. All. You love Tatum?
I'll be so upset if Ben Simmons goes to Atlanta.
Why?
Because like it's just another move that Atlanta does to support their team and their superstar that Dallas won't do for theirs.
Yeah.
And it just pisses me off.
Yeah, that's fair. just looking at my question list here, I don't really think there's much else that we can talk about just from the way that this show has progressed. I'm really just waiting for Josh to get back, and we're probably going to shut this down. Who do I have starting in the All-Star game? Probably John Morant, Steph Curry, Jokic for sure. LeBron, and I don't know who my other forward would be.
All-Star?
Yeah. And then East, you have to give it to Trae Young. Trae Young is nobody's putting Trae Young in the Eastern Conference starters. Like, he's second in points per game and third in assists per game and fourth in PER.
Yeah, but he needs motivation, Chris. So, like, what's his motivation to go out on to the All-Star team and, like, play?
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be. Isn't like Gobert having a good year?
I guess so, but yeah, I don't know. I guess so. I mean, I watched one Utah Jazz game when they played the Mavericks G League team, and it was a close game. So, but that's just a one-game sample size.
I haven't heard. No, dude, I'm going to sleep. There's no way. I'm not doing that. I haven't heard a single word about Donovan Mitchell this entire season.
Well, that's funny because he won Western Conference Player of the Month.
I didn't know that. I haven't heard a single word about him in the hobby, in the sport, nothing.
That's because you're not following certain people.
So
Donovan Mitchell is having his best regular season he's ever had.
there you go. What do I know?
26, 5, and 4, 18th best player efficiency rating, 34% from three, which is good for him.
Is he in protocols right now?
What's that?
Is he in protocols right now?
I don't know.
He didn't play tonight. They lost.
That's
okay.
Who'd they lose to? Oh, they lost to the Raptors. Yeah,
nobody played.
Oh, okay. They're not quite the same. Man, the Raptors have had a nice turnaround. They're up to 19 and 17. The Jazz just they're not the same regular season Titan that they were for the previous two seasons. Like, they're tucked away in third. For the last few seasons they've been having the best record in the league.
Suns, best team in the NBA.
Suns?
The regular season, like Titans, they're the new. Dude, they were like, I was watching the game the other night or last night against the Clippers, and it was like I never had any doubt they were going to win. They just feel like they're very solid at the end of games. They can close very well.
Yeah, there you go, 30-8.
Yeah, they're super efficient and like very good team passing the ball. Like they don't like Booker's obviously their best scorer or whatever, but like he was having a bad game, so that other guys were stepping up. The Suns are just really solid. I like watching them play. They're fun.
Yeah, the West is weird. So I'm not taking away from what they've accomplished with a 30-8 record because it's obviously impressive. But the West is like kind of bad this year. Like it's top heavy. You have Suns, Warriors, Jazz, and Grizzlies, right? But then the Mavs are the 5 seed.
Jeez.
Lakers are the 6 seed. Nuggets are the 7 seed. And then in the 8 seed is a team with a losing record.
Yeah.
And 9 seed, losing record. 10th seed. Dude, a team is going to get into the play-in 8 teams under 500.
Yeah. I think the Lakers will probably end up like 4 or 5 or something. And
yeah, I think the Lakers are a lot better than their record suggests right now.
Yeah, they'll like string together a couple win streaks, and then Davis will come back, and they'll sort of flame out early in the playoffs probably because they don't look that great to me. But they'll in the West. What about the East? Isn't the East has a lot better record?
What the fuck? Show me more. There we go. The East is less top heavy, but you need to have a winning record to be in the 8 seed.
Dude, the Cavs are like the biggest surprise of the year.
They're awesome, man. But they took a hit when they
Rubio.
lost Rubio. Yeah.
Yeah, the Bulls are still hanging tough. Like
Yeah,
the Raptors, wow.
Bulls are like in that mold of the Suns a little bit. Just how they have like a lot of talented wings and like they're defensive oriented and they move the ball and stuff. Like
Yeah, and like Levine and DeRozan are playing really good.
yeah, they are.
Oh, the Wizards, what happened? I thought the Wizards like were good. What happened to that?
They started off pretty good, but I guess when you play with LeBron, you just get worse when you leave or something like that. I think that's what how it goes.
Celtics are very disappointing.
Yeah, that is disappointing. No other way to slice that, but they're even ahead of these guys. Damn, they're the 12 seed.
They're hanging on by a thread, man.
The Pacers are disappointing too. They've got, on paper, they should be a good team.
The Pistons are a fucking nightmare. How come the Magic are always bad?
Must be cursed.
They blew up their team last year.
Yeah, they did
Yeah,
actually.
the Pacers aren't that great. I mean,
Well, you have
Brogdon.
Brogdon is good. LeVert is good. Miles Turner's good. T.J. Warren, who has not played, is good. Domantas Sabonis is like all-star level good. Duarte is a good rookie. Like, I don't know. They got some players, man.
What happened to Oladipo? I know he's not on the Pistons, but like whatever happened to that guy?
I think he's with the Heat.
What?
Yeah.
Is he hurt?
He's on the Miami Heat. I don't know. I haven't watched this. I've only watched one Heat game this year, and he did not play in it.
All right, Luber wants to come in. Then I'm going to sleep.
Where is he? I can't see
Right here.
yet. Oh, bring
Well,
him.
I'm in charge, not you.
Oh, duh.
You're just a bum.
I'm just the guy.
Oh, look at this guy. There he is.
What's up? You're the only guys I know who are up late with me.
Yeah, dude. Every time you text me, it's like 2:30 in the morning. I always wake up and see a Luber text. I'm like, what the heck, man?
You're waking up at 2:30? That's
No.
even a weird time to wake up because like
when I wake up at 8, I have texts that I missed from you at 2:30 in the morning.
Yes, that's much more. Yeah, I thought you guys were both like night owls. You guys are up like the same hours I am.
Yeah, we're up pretty late. Chris is up later than me.
I'm on your schedule, Josh.
I'm just getting going. I got a huge cup of iced coffee here. Like I'm rolling.
What did you do? Did you just go out and get that, or where does that come from? Is that homemade?
Well, this is actually my 2008-2009 Philadelphia 76ers cup with Andre Miller, Samuel Dalembert, Elton Brand, and Andre Iguodala. So this is my iced coffee cup that's been in my house since 2008. So yeah.
Wow. Everything's a collectible. Did you read about Starbucks mugs becoming collectibles? Did you check out that story?
No, are you serious or are you just joking?
Oh no, I'm 100% serious.
No, there's definitely like people who do that.
There's like editions of Starbucks mugs that are going for thousands of dollars on eBay.
That doesn't surprise me.
No, it doesn't surprise me either. We want everything to be the collectible / asset.
Because people are now picking out like the famous. People are picking out like the top of each like area, right? Like, oh, Starbucks is the best at. People are collecting like the tumblers or whatever, right?
Totally. Right. Well, it's our generation. It was the first generation where stuff was made that like it's saved, right? Like our parent, like my father's generation, they didn't save anything from, he was born in 1952. They didn't like save all that shit, right? But like everything that was made in 2008 is still around because it's all plastic and, we're just, it's good. It's more stuff for us to collect. I mean, you see my walls getting filled in. Like
it is getting filled in. I saw that wall when it was bare.
Yeah. No, when I built the wall itself. I mean, sneakers are in another room. This is just
sneakers.
This is just toys.
Their own
Sneakers and cards are in another room. This is just toys here. So. Yeah.
Oh, Josh, can I ask you something? Because you made a story today that was showing off some of your music cards, and then you had Carvin playing in the background, Carvin Chunk. And so what was the thinking there? Talk to us about that a little bit.
The thinking was, I didn't realize the audio on your phone shows up on your Instagram story.
Oh, that's so good.
I was listening to that podcast, and I was opening because I'm generally just interested in what Carvin's doing, because I'm a fan of non-sport cards and music cards and all that. And I happen to be listening to part of that podcast, and I happen to be opening up packs of those cards, which are the worst cards to possibly open. I mean, every card is stuck together. It's this like 1997 Argentinian rock card set. They're all stuck together. It's a fucking mess. But like that's like the Green Day like rookie in there. They're all in just horrible condition. But it's just a fun pack to open. And at some point I bought some ridiculous number, like 12,000 packs for like $80 or something. Like it's just, you know. So every now and then I'll just open like 50 packs, and I throw away like basically all except like the Green Day card. So yeah. Anyway.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dude, music cards are cool.
I didn't realize that until it was on there. So
I got you. That's awesome. It was a nice ode to Carvin, intentional or not.
Look, it was a very genuine thing. I was listening to that podcast and opening some cards. So,
yeah. No, I mean, Carvin, is involved in making music cards. He had the weekend cards come out, and I think music cards are really cool, man. I used to work in that business. I love it, dude. Yeah.
I've been very open about that. I'm a huge fan of that stuff. So it's great. I'm interested to see what else he does and where that stuff goes from there. So it's cool.
Are you friends with have you talked to Yam Wax Corey? He's like all over the rookies of the non-sport stuff. Like he started posting like the rookie Harry Potter cards, and like he'll know all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. He and I have been talk about this sort of like those random cards for forever. What's funny was for the Harry Potter ones, I was kind of making a point. He and I had discussed this earlier. I kind of thought the first one with the characters from the movie would be the like bigger ones. I don't know if he was just saying chronologically it was the third one, whatever. But I don't know. There's a fair amount out there because I looked into that a little bit, and I bought a couple unopened boxes like a while ago. But like that stuff's cool. Like that's like, I mean, think about like where the world was with regard to Harry Potter franchise when that first thing came out, right? And like where that's gone. That's like, it's as big and important in culture as like any sport, any athlete ever, right? Like, so it's cool.
Those second ones are really cool. Like the hologram horizontal ones, those are cool.
Yeah. I'd never seen those. I'd seen the first ones and the third ones.
Yeah, the stickers.
Who among us has read Harry Potter books?
Me.
Christina, Josh.
I
haven't either. I have never read a page of Harry Potter.
I used to go at midnight to buy the books at Barnes & Noble.
Wow.
She would. I could do that.
If Christina's involved, she's one-upping you in some way, shape, or form.
My brother and a couple friends were like that, and they were always reading the books. I don't know. I mean, Josh, is that it? I mean, everyone else is going to say whatever. The books are always better than movies, but it seems like it's a pretty like devoted fan base on the reading the books, huh?
I'm definitely not a big book reader. I think I read like the first few, but I'm more of the movie guy anyways.
Totally. So what did I miss for the first 2.5 hours?
What did I miss?
Oh, it's gone downhill in the last hour.
I figure if I show up now, there's only a handful of like the true devotees that are still hanging on it. What is it? It's 2:30 East Coast, so yeah.
These are the real 1 hours.
The real one.
Could you weigh in on the vanilla Long John as a snack?
The vanilla Long John. I don't even know what that is.
Damn. What is?
Doesn't it sound like some sort of weed or some sort of like vape thing? Thank you.
Hold on.
Vanilla Long John.
Maybe if I show an image, this one.
Is that the like Vienna fingers?
It's
literally a vanilla donut.
Oh, I have no idea what that is. Yeah.
Damn. See, well, I don't know I didn't know what Wawas were, so.
I mean,
I think when you and Mike and Jesse talked about that was pretty funny.
Yeah. But, anyone in Philadelphia, Jersey area, that just like rolled off my tongue, and so I haven't been to a Wawa in years because I live in Austin and there's no Wawas here, but it's just it's in your blood if you grew up in Philadelphia. So
when you said it, I was like, can someone please interrupt this man and ask him what the fuck is a Wawa? And Jesse finally did, and I was like, thank you. I don't know what he's talking about.
What's funny was I didn't realize I had said it right? And then I was like, you like Wawa? I like Wawa too. And then I realized that I had like when I was just talking about like random places, because when I think of like a 7-Eleven type of store, like I think of Wawa, you know, like Kleenex, you know, a tissue, you know what I mean? It's a Wawa, you know?
I get it. Makes sense.
It's like, you know, I've lived, you know, the last 6 years in Detroit, and in Midwest, they say pop for everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like all soda is pop.
Pop. Yep. No, I grew up calling it pop as well. So
When you say Midwest, do you actually mean the East Coast?
not this fucking shit.
Because these guys here are like, oh, Midwest is basically like, you know, fucking New York is Midwest to these guys.
No. Detroit is Midwest.
Yeah, I mean, I was in Detroit for the last 6 years. Detroit's Midwest. I mean, it's in the East Coast time zone. Like, that's true.
Okay, just because geographically it's east, but once upon a time this was a smaller country and it was the middle of the West. I think that's what we're going with.
Midwest is fucking Oklahoma and like Nebraska.
Yeah, I think those kind of get lumped in too, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Detroit just feels like East. It's in the Eastern Conference. The Pistons are in the Eastern Conference.
I don't know. I mean, so what's Chicago?
Midwest.
Chicago's East.
Oh, what?
No. Like, if there's any argument, Chicago's like the first major city in Central Time Zone. So at least like there, you're changing time zones. Detroit's Eastern Time Zone.
But this is literally how people on the West Coast think of you guys. We're like, Chicago, you guys are on the East. Like, it's all East. Unless it's literally like in the middle with like, you know, Montana and like Utah and stuff. That's mid.
Some of Detroit is Mid-Atlantic. No, Mid-Atlantic is like DC, Virginia, Baltimore. Like, that's Mid-Atlantic, right? Because they don't want to be lumped in with like New York, Philly, Boston. And I get that. Like, I wouldn't want to be either if I was, you know.
But Chicago isn't lumped in with those? Chicago, Illinois, or Chicago, Philly, they're different?
Chicago's nowhere near Philly. What?
It's all super close. Compared to like where we're at, you guys are all close together.
Josh, you can just drive to Philadelphia from Chicago.
No, I mean, it's like, you know, I grew up in Philly, and everyone used to be like, oh, you're like right next to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's 8 hours by car. You know, it's nowhere near each other. Pittsburgh is Midwest. Pittsburgh is Midwest. Philadelphia is the East, Northeast.
Josh, what did this mean?
You guys are data people. You can't read that graph?
Yeah, but
I don't know. This graph is tricky.
One's tricky.
I think it says before today and today, and then there's Topps logos on either side. It's predicting the future.
Simple.
It's a prediction.
Lameem's copy of that one was simple. This is the tricky one.
Oh yeah.
I didn't see his, or I forget. What did he write?
He like copied you and made something else. What? Yeah, get Lameem's up if you can.
Oh, this is good.
I feel like he's been on a roll. There's been like some good stuff over there recently.
He's going hard, man. He's going hard, man.
All right.
Enclosed material. That's funny.
Okay, so it says before today, player game worn, and after today, dicks.
That's really funny.
That's pretty.
He's on a heater lately. He's like going hard.
That's not bad. Okay, so the graphic is self-explanatory. Is that what we're doing here?
There's nothing. The graphic couldn't be. You know, come on. Topps is the brand for baseball cards. Topps will always be the brand for baseball cards, right?
Yeah.
That's, you know, this was a pretty obvious one. You know, I'm glad that we were able to get that done, and you know, I've said multiple times, you know, it's going to be evolution, not revolution, right? Like we're try to fuck up as little as we can and change things slowly, but you know, Topps made cards since 1952. You know, that's the brand for baseball cards. You know, there's lots of other things that we can change. We will get in there, but you know, like tomorrow, you know, today, nothing's different than it was last week. You know, just you know, slowly start working with those guys and figure out how it can improve stuff. So it's great.
Earlier today, people were talking about like, you know, like people look at Topps with like rose-colored glasses or whatever, and I sort of hinted that like Topps potentially has like overprinted a lot of stuff, similar to like the way people feel about Panini. What is your take on that, given what we know now?
Look, I mean, this doesn't change all the stuff that I wrote in the white paper and everything with regard to the issues around overproduction and growth versus long-term value of the cards. I think that it's pretty obvious when you look at Topps compared to Panini, just in terms of the number of products that are, I mean, high end is not really the right word, but higher end, right? Like Topps has more retail products than Panini does. If you just even like, they both make about whatever, somewhere between 40 to 50 sets a year, baseball, basketball, and football. And basketball and football have a higher percentage that have a higher price, right? And that have long-term value on the secondary market. And I feel like, baseball, there's more kind of like, collectors in baseball than there is basketball and football for a lot of reasons. So, and so maybe that's okay, right? Like, I've been on the outside looking in, so I have no, we're just now in learning mode and figuring it out. But as a consumer, I have the same view you have, which is like, feels like they've made a lot of cards. It feels like a lot's retail. It feels like there's not a whole lot that has a lot of long-term value. I don't personally have a ton of like recent Topps cards in my collection, right? But I have some, I got a couple, big Sotos. I got a couple big Trouts and stuff like that. But, so we'll see. We'll see. But, baseball cards are always going to be here. So that's a good thing.
Congratulations. How about that? How about congrats on that?
Thanks,
that's maybe the most prestigious brand in the hobby. And now it's part of the new world order.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
So congrats on that.
Congrats to you guys. I haven't talked to you, at least not publicly, since all news with you guys. So congrats. I don't, at least you guys aren't wearing PSA shirts or anything there. So
you don't know what's underneath this hoodie. Huge PSA shill shirt. Also, PSA is a sister company to Card Ladder now. So obviously, but we're still Card Ladder, baby. And we're still here to do what we do.
Yeah, I mean, it makes a lot like that. That partnership makes a lot of sense, right? And I think it's important, and it continues to be more important that when PSA grades cards, that everybody knows the value of those cards. So it's good.
Definitely. What about Panini? We had a lot of questions to our show today that wanted to know if Fanatics has its eyes on acquiring Panini as well.
Well, I will say two things. One, I've said forever that I would love to have all the brands, right? I mean, but other than that, I'm certainly not here like making any other announcements or anything like that. So we'll see how the rest of it goes. Theoretically, I mean, I'd love to have all the brands. I'd love to have, Topps Chrome basketball next to Panini Prism basketball next to Exquisite basketball, right? But it's none of this stuff happens overnight, and so we'll see.
You excited? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Josh. I've asked like 8 questions. Go.
Carvin pointed out my favorite little tidbit in the comments tonight, which was like Topps Chrome versus Prism.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, man, what if we could have that duel of like what people would take the side of, like what becomes the product for a rookie card, stuff like that. It would be a really fun thing because we haven't had anything like that in so long. When you used to have like Finest versus Chrome versus Exquisite versus, it'd be cool to have some of those battles again. Yeah,
and like if you thought about just from a brand standpoint, let's assume, which I mean this is never going to happen, right? But let's assume that we actually had all three brands, all three companies. What you would do is you would keep the best, and you'd get rid of, whatever, a Panini certified or whatever, and you would have all the best stuff next to each other, and I mean that would just be great, right?
Don't get rid of Chronicles. I like Chronicles. Sorry.
It's funny because I actually about to say Chronicles, and I was like, hold on, I think these guys like Chronicles.
I know. It was on the tip of your tongue.
It was. It was exactly what I was going to say. So make your case for Chronicles.
Okay. This is my case for Chronicles. I just bought this. This is a Christian McCaffrey 1/1 from 2019 Chronicles, and the only reason I bought it was because it looked cool. This is a recent Chronicles pickup from Christina. Okay, this is a Luca Blue, number 77 of 99. Chronicles is where products are A, tested out, and B, retired. So it's a place for like Threads to live on, and it's a place for like Obsidian to get its trial run. It's loaded with numbered rookie cards. It's the most fun rip. It's the most bang for your buck fun rip you could possibly have. Maybe I'll send you a box of Chronicles and you can live it the way that we live it and love it because you open
It's
a
like the
box of
R&D.
Chronicles, man, and you're gonna
It's
know
like the
what
R&D of Panini.
Yeah, I would love to understand like like the numbers and the details and all that of like from Panini's perspective. Like if it's really R&D, how are they getting the data and the feedback on certain cards and not others? And like, because like that sounds like a good concept, right? Like an R&D thing, but it still says and I've had guys try to sell me like Prism cards, and then I'm like, hold on, flip that over, and then it says like Chronicles at the back, real small, and you're like, well, wait a minute, like what is that? Am I treating that like Prism? No.
Mm-hmm.
Is that how you? I mean,
Prism
like,
Black.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's the bad part about Chronicles. They rolled out a special different spin-off of Prism called Prism Black and put it into Chronicles, and it makes my life living hell for obvious reasons.
Yeah, I would bet.
Don't they also put like rookies that didn't have Prism cards?
But that's not Prism Black. But yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Like they put Kevin Durant's first Brooklyn Nets Prism card into Chronicles.
Right. So what's that, like the old like Topps update like sets basically?
Yeah, that's
like
the way to think about it.
Your Topps traded and Fleer update sets are now like in Chronicles.
Yeah, I like that. I hadn't thought of it that way, but I like that.
Right. I mean, that's how they used to do, right? At the end of the year, back when we had 3 sets.
Yes.
Right.
That's right. Josh, a lot of people are wondering, what do you think about the grading company called ISA? That was a super hot topic for this week in the hobby. Do you have any thoughts on ISA grading?
Unbelievable how bent up in arms people get about shit. Like, okay. I lived in Detroit for the last 6 years. My friend Dan is the CEO of ISA. He was with me at the National. Like,
Yep.
It's ISA is a good grading company if you just want to have a card slab. And so, like, good for them. They've been out there and they do good work. It's a different market than PSA and BGS and SGC, and people got like all up in arms that a couple of us that are friends with Dan were happy for him that he got someone sent him a refractor.
How dare
and like
you?
everybody, well, I know everybody like always like assumes the worst, and like it's fucking comical that of like people assume that we got like paid. You think I'm posting something like I get paid? First of all, like, what am I, a fucking Kardashian that like I charge my stories and stuff like that? Like, that's so ridiculous. Right. We were all happy for Dan. He's a good dude. And they've been so. Yeah, their business has been doing well, and most of it is just people that want us to have stuff in a slab. That most of the stuff isn't worth what it costs to slab it, because it's like, hey, these were my cards from the '80s, my Gary Carter like rookie card that is like a like a 5, and they want to have a Gary Carter 85 Topps in a slab. Like it's a good niche for that, and I think that's where those other guys will end up, like HG. Whatever the H1 is, and they all kind of run together for me as well. But I think what happens is that you get a group of grading companies that are just people who want to have slab, and then you have this sort of call it marketplace, collector value type of and that's PSA, BGS, and SGC, and there's room for all of it. Like that stuff is good. What you want is as many people in the hobby collecting their own way as possible, and not everybody grades a card just to sell it. That they want to keep it, and that's fine. And you can't go get a great. There's no chance you're gonna get a company to grade your Gary Carter 85 Topps right now, or wait a year for it or whatever. So anyway, I did not assume that we were talking about that, and then I caught some of that stuff when I woke up from my nap at like 12:30. It's 1:30 here right now. I woke up from my nap at 12:30. I went to get my coffee and like check my scroll, saw you guys were still on and stuff like that.
Yes.
So anyway, that's the ISA stuff.
Great. So you also you were taking a nap, from what, about probably 11:30 to 12:30 or so.
Yeah.
I've done that on 1 or 2 occasions. So what really are your hours then? Like when are you really going to sleep?
I usually sleep from 5 to 10.
Okay, all right.
I sleep from 5 to 10.
That's our hours, Josh.
No, it's not. We're not that crazy. I guess we sleep.
That's literally it. Those are literally our hours.
But we sleep longer than that, though.
Yeah, like 3 to 10.
Yeah.
I sleep. I mean, sometimes I'll sleep a little bit earlier or a little bit later, and then I usually will like catch an hour or two nap in the evening when I put my kids to sleep.
Okay.
And then it happens to be that I've actually I had COVID last weekend, and I've been in quarantine for basically this whole week. So I haven't seen my kids. So I just took a nap later in the day. I've been down in my office and in the spare bedroom. So, but yeah, I've been in quarantine for the last week in my spare bedroom. So good. I'm like excited to be out in my office. This is a big. Hopefully, my wife doesn't see this and upset that I'm like not in quarantine room. So yeah.
Are you feeling better, man?
Yeah, I'm great. I mean, this is like just life now, right? Like we, get COVID, we deal with it. Like I slept for a couple of days. I was quarantined for a couple of days, but totally fine.
All right, good. Glad to hear that. That's always scary.
What about the Pokemon case? I want to hear. What do you think about that?
Oh yeah, let's go.
I don't know Pokemon at all.
You don't have to know Pokemon. It's the drama of it. What about the drama?
Yeah. So I'll just say that it's odd to me that Baseball Card Exchange would grade that knowing how valuable it is, or wrap it knowing how valuable it is. Like that's just a weird thing to. Like I've met Steve a few times, and I know it just seems to me that you'd be way more careful with than wrapping that, given how valuable it is. But I don't know, because it was wrapped relatively recently, right? Like I read the thing and read the change. So I don't know. Did they say they're going to open it?
Yeah, they're all flying over there right now, and they're going to open it tomorrow.
Well, I guess we'll see.
Get your popcorn ready, dude. It's going to be big time TV.
I know. I wonder who do you think's on the hook for that if they open it and it's a box of rocks?
Card Kahuna and Mealy probably. Because they're the ones that profited the most from it. They turned it from $100,000 to $2.8 million.
Yeah, but there's
did they know, right? Like I don't know, right?
Well, really, like the chain, the buck stops with the people who sold it to them, right? Because they're the eBay account that sold it to them, or the whoever the eBay account was that first put up on eBay. That was where the red flags all really originated and started. Isn't that fair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess you're right that if they made the most money on that, then they're the ones who are gonna owe Logan Paul some money.
Yeah, so what are they gonna do? Go get their $80,000 back from the eBay scammer, right, versus like the $3 million they lost. That
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's fucking. I'm surprised we haven't had something like that come up already. Just given, like, cases would be pretty easy to resell. It's fucking tape. Like there's none, it's. So that's, I don't know.
That's what I said earlier tonight. I'm like, why are these guys authenticating it? It's a fucking brown box. Like, what are you authenticating?
Right. That it is odd. I'm curious. Has he made a statement about why they authenticated it?
I mean, I'm hoping we'll find out tomorrow. I would just assume that like tomorrow they're gonna freaking open it and be like, oh yeah, here's why we did it. Here, I don't know.
Is Steve Hart opening it with Logan Paul?
Tomorrow, yeah. They're all like flying over there right now. Like there was like a video.
All those guys are all doing it together?
Shine and some other guy flew over there, and then Logan said he's going to be there tomorrow. Well,
or Logan Paul's very good at creating content, and he created the rumor himself and started the whole thing, which that'd be some fucking brilliant, content creation there for.
I think what's going to happen is they're going to open it and they're all going to have first edition labels on the boxes. They're going to be like, look, it's good. And then, a year from now, they're going to open one of the boxes and be like, oh shit, it was all fake.
I mean, they're going to have to open a box. Like,
I don't know if they're going to. I think tomorrow they're going to open the case and be like, look, they're good. I bet you.
You got to open one box. If you're going to open the case, you got to open one box.
But there's like a $700,000 premium on it being a case. And now, all of a sudden, you open a box, it's like you're cutting into the premiums left and right.
That's true. I mean, someone's taking a haircut in that generally, right? So.
You open those boxes, dude, you basically might as well just like cut the value in half, unless you're getting all PSA 10s, which you're not. You're getting 8s and 9s.
Right.
Pokemon is not very good with condition.
All right. This was good. I got a chance to drink my coffee, wake up with you guys. Now I get
Good morning, Josh.
Good morning. Like I said, I'm glad there's someone hanging out with me at these hours. That
That's why we do these shows, man, because the real ones are up at these hours. So we provide entertainment.
Look, you got to work when if you just work the same amount as everyone else, then you're just keeping up with everyone else, right? You gotta.
That's right. All right. Well, it's good to see you, buddy, and glad you're doing all right.
Good to talk to you guys. See you later.
Yeah, man.
All right, let's wrap up. I'm falling asleep over here, bro.
Yeah, thank you for holding out. Our Josh doesn't have quite as strange of hours as Josh Luber and Christine and myself.
My kids wake me up at 7, and they don't give a fuck what I did the night before. They don't give a shit. They're like, "Oh, you were up all night, motherfucker? Get up and play with me."
That's right. Well, this was quite the episode of the crossover. What a note to end on. Am I right?
Yeah, I'm exhausted. Whatever you say, talking head. I'm gonna go eat a donut. I need donuts tomorrow.
Somebody just opened a clubhouse room that said, "Is Josh Luber a bold-faced liar?"
You gotta love this hobby. It's the witching hour over here.
It's the witching hour. I really appreciate that Josh comes on here and talks to us, man. He doesn't need to do that, and man, good on him.
He's no BS either. He just like says he tells you what he's thinking. He doesn't mess around.
Good. Shout out Josh Luber, Fanatics Tops. All right, you want to send this one off with see you guys next week?
See you guys. I'm gonna save this motherfucker.
Oh, good, please.
It's gonna be like a 4-hour, like 50 gigabyte file, but like Nick will figure it out.
Yes, he will.
See you guys.
Bye.
Card Ladder, the best sports card app on the market. The future of sports cards is here. Card Ladder is the 21st century price guide and market analysis tool for sports cards. The best tools to help you track your cards. Watch the trends, stay informed, compare cards, and track the growth of your personal collection, all in one simple and intuitive platform. Join the innovators, not the imitators. The future is here. The future is now. Card Ladder.